your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why? $22 million in 3 fucking hours! There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man. I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not. The feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. Why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's right.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
With you guys, let's do some introductions, get some backgrounds, and then we'll talk about why Tessera.
Sure. It's very good to be here. My name is Chan An, and I'm the founder and CEO at Tessera. And we are tokenizing private assets and starting with private equity companies on Solana very soon.
Nice.
I'm Steven. I'm the CMO at Tessera. Very glad to be here.
Nice. There we go. Well, let's just get straight into it. The private markets are so gated. And to start this conversation, we've seen, the recent SpaceX situation where they're going to IPO at the record-breaking $1.5 trillion, right? It's inaccessible to most people. When you look at private markets and maybe you think about the vision of Tessera, what is that vision and what have you set out to do in the private markets?
So essentially what Tessera is, unpacking what Chan just said, is we acquire positions in massive companies before they go public, and then we tokenize those positions and put up those assets for sale to the end user of Tessera. And the percentage of the token supply you end up owning is the percentage of the cash you get at IPO. So we buy the asset, the company IPOs. Let's say we'll use SpaceX, for example, because you mentioned it. SpaceX raised at a 400 billion, then there was an 800, now they're saying 1.5. Let's say we bought at an 800 and there is $1 million of SpaceX. If you own 1% of that and then it IPOs at 1.5, we'll say 1.6 for easy math, you would be at a 2x. So you would be able to claim twice as much money as you bought into it. And it's a very simple model. I buy the token on Tessera, that company goes live, I can then burn my tokens to get the cash from that company. But the entire process in between, we provide a vehicle for those private equities to still be traded. So very simple cash out process, completely permissionless. We don't KYC the user to cash that out, and traders can take advantage of that volatility and the fact that we essentially become the oracle. We become the pricing of the secondary market.
And if you think about it, if you step back, you mentioned about the private asset, and including three of us, and in fact, everyone in this event, how many of us actually traded, even held, likes of a SpaceX? SpaceX just did the latest funding round at what, 800 billion, which sounds a lot. But then the next one, they're talking about IPOing at what, 1.5 trillion.
What's the time frame there?
Very all speculative, but as well as early as Elon Musk says, go. So, yeah. But I think the key problem there is the question of access. Now we are hearing private companies, and I think more and more good companies are staying private, and they're deciding not to go public, and there are many reasons for it. But that excludes and prevents people like us from participating in those companies. And I mean, there's good reason why you have a public market and private market. And the reason why we started Tessera is the blockchain technology is uniquely positioned to address a lot of shortcomings that is present in the TradFi world that creates this bifurcation of private company and the public company. So, and we can go into more technical details, but using the blockchain and in particular Solana, what you're trying to do is to give the users, retail and institutionals, that access to something that we have all been excluded from.
I think the question that comes to mind, and probably comes to most people's minds, is holder protections, right? We see people like Robinhood doing this, and I think infamously we saw that scuffle kind of between SpaceX and Robinhood, where Robinhood offered these private shares, and I think SpaceX came on Twitter and said, you know, whatever you own there isn't actually representative of our SpaceX shares, right? And so there's kind of that question that gets floated around where you see some people providing private companies like Robinhood and others, not going to name too many, but what makes you guys protected in a better alternative?
Okay. What you mentioned, unfortunately, is actually wrong. In that what SpaceX said is what Robinhood has done isn't endorsed or sponsored by the company itself. What Robinhood has done is legit from the legal perspective, which actually is pretty common again, without SpaceX or any private companies admitting, is a common thing you see in the secondary market place. So there was nothing wrong there, except that the users who hold exposures of the SpaceX through the Robinhood will not be in the what you call cap table or the share registry of the SpaceX.
It'll be the entity that holds that SpaceX.
Exactly, which is essentially, in a nutshell, is the same approach that we take. The biggest difference between what, for example, Robinhood does and what we have done is we have actually created this structure that result in our tokens being offered permissionlessly, i.e. no KYC. And I think that is actually very, very important because ultimately you're talking about what is considered security. And if you simply pass through, then it becomes a token. And therefore, what Robinhood is offering to their users will be offered only to those KYC users of the Robinhood. They will not be able to take it out, which means it's excluded from all the DeFi integration. Whereas what we have done is to take a step further in a compliant way, and I can go into more details too, to create a structure whereby that product can be offered to all the DeFi and take the maximum benefit of what the blockchain can offer.
So I'd love to know this process, right? You maybe buy into SpaceX at an 800 billion valuation, you offer it on your platform. Do you guys have a spot on the cap table? You know, we've seen companies tokenizing. I think one of the biggest things is, well, I don't want a bunch of random, you know, Twitter trader degens on the cap table, you know, trying to make decisions for me. Who owns, I guess, the rights to the cap table in your case, or how does that even work?
You see, being on cap table doesn't give you anything special. You know, I mean, it's you feel good about it,
right?
You know, but that's really it. You know, I mean, so important thing is, do you have the legal recourse to the underlying exposures that you want to have? Now, what we are interested is economic performance of those companies. I.e., if the SpaceX is going to IPO at 1.6 or whatever trillion of dollar, then I want to be able to have my asset that is supposed to be reflecting that to actually reflect that. You know, I think that is what is important.
Sure.
And that's what we're focusing on.
To piggyback off that, your tokenization represents 100% of the cash upside of that position. It doesn't represent, here's the amount of equity I'm going to be getting at the end of the day, because it's essentially a forced sell and you're given the cash value of it. And there's a lot of legal reasons for that, technical, executional. It allows us to give a user the complete upside that you're not able to get. And that's what interests me in this side of the RWA space. I like RWAs that allow me to enter a position that I can't do traditionally, right? I am a US citizen, but I'm not an accredited investor. I can't easily go access these deals in the way that Tessera is able to access them, let alone, let's say I wasn't a US citizen. I would have virtually no way to access these. And so we unlock an entire market. It's a massive market. Chan can give some of the specific numbers on the secondary market, but we're like democratizing that in a sense. And there's not many RWAs today that I think are really pioneering this like complete inaccessibility that they're unlocking. And so that's why I really liked Sarah, and there's a few other companies doing similar private assets that I'm very bullish on.
And just going back, I mean, the reason why people ask about the cap table and so on is to confirm that I actually have the exposure.
Yeah.
To confirm that, one way of doing it is if you see your name in the cap table, then that does it. It's not the most efficient way of doing it. Alternative is to have someone confirm that you have the exposures.
Yeah.
Everything Web 2 is just a lot more complicated than Web 3, and it's lacking a lot of transparency that we have. What we are trying to do is making sure we have all the process in place to be able to confirm that the token holders have the rightful ownership of the underlying exposures. So from that perspective, one thing we are making sure is instead of trying to get into the the nitty-gritty details of the technicals, we have partnered with Chainlink, and we will be publishing on Solana the proof of reserve.
Nice.
Which means each token holder has will be directly one-to-one back to the underlying exposures. And that will be confirmed through the on-chain mechanism, Chainlink, and it will be also confirmed by the auditor as well. So I think what is important again is confirming that exposure and providing the transparency around it. Right?
That's a big partnership. Why did you choose Chainlink as an oracle rather than, maybe Pyth or other providers?
I can answer that. So very good friends with a lot of people at Pyth. They actually don't provide proof of reserves.
Oh, do they not?
So
they should.
Our need.
Why not?
Well, the demand. I've talked to some of their BD guys a bit. They have not had enough inbound demand to provide that. But Pyth is a phenomenal pricing oracle, and we actually have some products in the future that we're most likely going to use them as well. But Chainlink's proof of reserves, to our knowledge, is the best option that exists right now for our use case.
So
yeah, go on.
If you have more addition to that.
No, the other thing is also, and again, I like Pyth a lot, but one thing Chainlink does, Chainlink is actually quite interesting that because it's an oracle, but also it provides cross-chain bridging too. So the way we think, and then Tessera ultimately is an asset issuer. We're starting with the Solana, and then we love the concept of ICM. But ultimately, how do we take the concept of ICM beyond Solana? And that requires a cross-chain capability.
For sure.
And Chainlink was, from that perspective, actually is uniquely positioned, to support us. Yeah. And they're very keen. So yeah.
So maybe on the topic of TAM, the total addressable market here, when I think of crypto, I think the average crypto trader would love exposure to private companies. And the further back you go in terms of private company, rather than SpaceX at $1.5 trillion, but maybe go to a startup that's just getting started here. I think the volatility is somewhat similar to what crypto offers. And I think a lot of these traders would actually really enjoy exposure to private companies for a multitude of reasons, but especially, the volatility. When you think of your target audience and when you think of the TAM of what Tessera is building, can you maybe get into some numbers or who you guys are targeting and that stuff?
Yeah, big question there. So unpacking it, serviceable, addressable, total market, it kind of depends on the stage. So initially at launch, our main user base are going to be RWA users, people that really like X stocks, and then some mix of what you would call the trenches, right? Because you mentioned volatility. We are a type of product that provides somewhere between like a meme coin and an X stock, right? And X stock's primary price is coming from the traditional market. So nothing that happens in crypto is going to affect an X stock, right? Outside of an Oracle problem. And meme coins are this, you have this type of audience that wants the 20K market cap,
right,
get rugged 10 times in a row. Eventually you hit something, right? I've been there. I love that space. I play at the casino, right? Not necessarily building it. But we're somewhere in the middle, probably a little closer to X stocks, where there is typically higher risk in the private market than something that's already publicly trading. And we think that because of that mix that we're in, that the trenches should still love it. They get something that's a little more sophisticated. They get something that is backed by a legitimate company, a SpaceX and OpenAI. There's a few prediction markets we're looking at. They know these companies, they like these companies. Many of them use the products of these companies, yet they get to take advantage of this potentially 2x, 3x. Some of them, you look at Figma, right? If you got into Figma's private rounds, you're very happy. Or even Circle, Kalshi. I think Kalshi's recent was 11 billion.
YC got 150K position turned into 700 million or something.
So yeah, now
that's
YC much earlier, right? But these are companies that can provide a level of upside that you will never get with a public equity outside of a NVIDIA that you bought publicly and you waited years, right? Yeah. And so this is something that over the course of a year or two, you can get you can get multiples. And so we think it's somewhere in the middle, and I'm kind of going in a circle here now, but the addressable market immediately is the RWA space and the trenches. I think what that will grow to is the size of crypto. And the reason I say that is because there is the one barrier. You need to know how to use a wallet. You need to know how to get crypto in. We'll provide some on-ramps, MoonPay. There's a bunch of other fiat providers that we're most likely going to integrate in a pretty seamless way, but there will always be that crypto barrier. So once we've addressed, okay, we've tackled Solana, everyone knows us, everyone loves us, everyone is using us as that source of secondary market, we will then figure out how do we get the traditional user in. And the person I think that fits that is sort of like the Wall Street Bets crew, right? There's some degeneracy, there's a lot of options trading, there's a lot of highs and lows. Some of them are in crypto or crypto adjacent, and they're probably the prime target market to get them to take advantage of this. And then I think waiting for crypto to mature a little bit.
Sure.
There's a certain barrier of our space has this connotation of being pump and dumpy, lots of scams, lots of large exchange exit scams. I mean, FTX feels like it happened a decade ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And so the traditional space still sees it as this, like, there's some legitimacy, but there's a lot of not. And I think that us and a lot of companies will need to slowly grow with crypto and kind of change that narrative.
One thing I want to add is, I mean, we all degen, and then, and then Stephen and I debate often about this as well, but how many of the meme coins that you see can be used for lending and borrowing? By definition, exactly. Now, think about the collateral value of SpaceX that is tokenized. Now, you have a company which is currently valued at 800 billion. 6 months ago, it was at 400 billion. Go back another 6 months, it was less than 200 billion.
Wow.
You've done about 8 times in the space of a year. That is not a small growth. And you're talking about almost a trillion of the size. Think about using that, holding that, and then using it as a collateral in the lending protocol. And think about the looping potential that you can have. It's not about the volatility, it's about the growth. And from that perspective, anyone degening, everyone has to pay attention to that. Because it's an asset that is such a good material, for forever looping. You know what I mean? But again, I think the mindset, it needs to change a bit. And that's why we are heavily focusing on trading volume instead of just distributing the assets. That's also why the partnership with the Meteora is very, very important, because we need to make sure the liquidity is created in order for everything else to exist. But
So are you guys tokenizing these and creating speculation markets like Xstock does, or is the only way to cash out at a liquidity event? I think IPO is what you guys mentioned.
These will be completely like public CAs, right? So you can buy this, and depending on how the market values it, you'll be able to sell into whatever asset you want on Solana prior to a liquidity event. It's not like you're purchasing these. There's some competitors that do this where you can purchase them on their site and you can't take it off site. And so it's kind of like I don't actually know if there's an underlying token there, but it's sort of like a Web 2.5 thing that enabled wallet so that you can kind of spend on it. And we're just fully letting the CA out there. So this is why you can integrate it into DeFi. This is why we're happy to have partnerships with perp markets and allow them to have perpetual futures, lending and borrowing markets, yield strategies. There's a couple different USDC lending and borrowing protocols on Solana that we're speaking with to utilize our markets within their yield strategies. So any and every DeFi protocol we plan to integrate Tessera into.
What's interesting too, and we got to close up here shortly, but what's interesting to me at least is also the arbitrage opportunities, right? You have SpaceX going to announce this 1.5 trillion IPO. So you got an 800 billion and there's this tradable speculative market that you guys offer. Ultimately, if you're quick to the ball here and it gets announced that they're raising 1.5 trillion, you can cash in on 2x upside pretty quick if you're paying attention, assuming the speculative market is at 800 billion. How do you guys see that? Do you think that's a benefit? Do you think the arbitrage is a bad thing? Like, how do you guys?
Oh, no, absolutely. I think that's speculation is what drives this market. And that's why we love private equity, because information doesn't exist. So you have to, it creates a lot of
due diligence,
not only due diligence, but opportunities for you to be able to take your position and then lock in and then manage your portfolio, which again, isn't possible. And then just going back to what you said, even if I can convert to the private shares now, what can I do? There's very little you can do. And because we have a blockchain and because we can tokenize RWA like SpaceX, you have this opportunity to speculate on an asset that is currently inaccessible.
Guys, what a fascinating conversation. We're going to wrap up here. Maybe closing thoughts. What should people be excited for? What's coming next for you guys? Let's close this off.
Yeah. Currently, we're in a pre-launch stage. We're looking ideally Q1 of 2026 to go live with some of these assets. Will be different assets than some of our competitors. And we currently have a referral model fully on chain that we share 35% of our revenue with the initial users who refer people who end up converting meaning owning the actual assets. We take a very low fee. It's a 20 bip fee outside of the 5 bip LP swap fee. That's done with a token extension. basically you can't circumvent it. So it's a very powerful referral model that regardless of where you buy it or swap it, whoever referred you gets up to 35% of our revenue. So it's a very
Children are turning into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up.
There is no nobility in
Then your children are turning into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up.
There is no nobility in
Hey guys, GMCG, what is up? And apologies on the video there. I had the wrong file selected, so we'll get that corrected for tomorrow. Chill, what's up? How you doing?
GMCG, what's up, bro? How's everything?
I'm good, man.
With the Lauria trade, Josh.
Oh yeah,
we got Josh out here trenching in the trenches. And talk to me, bro. How's the Lauria trade?
dude, the Lauria trade is great. Got a nice 100% overnight mover on that, and another one on P0, which is absolutely ripping. So, which is a little micro cap that we have in the old Axiom. But yeah, guys, I started using Axiom just like this week. To be honest with you, I'd never used it before, so finally up in just the level of trading here. And so yeah, we're just kind of locked in right now, testing out new trading setups. But yeah, the Lauria trade absolutely ripping. I think it's an interesting one for bags, and I'm going to share just exactly why, kind of what I'm looking at here. Once I pull up my screen, because I think this is very, very interesting. And I think not a lot of people are going back and doing this kind of DD. So we will get that done for you. And I'm going to close Axiom because it is lagging my computer. All right. Okay. Add to screen. Oh, sorry. I got to remove that. Okay. Here's what we got. All right, this is a post about Lauria, and basically Andy talking about it. Obviously, you can see the royalties. This is from August, and one of the interesting comments, and basically, so what I'm trying to say here is we've not seen like a bags project where active promotion of the token is required for it to perform, I would say, decently. And Andy makes it quite clear that this is back in August, mind you, that he is building stuff. He doesn't really think about the token when deciding what to do with his time, which is good. This is dev focused. Is not endorsing any specific token, but on this is actively claiming the Lauria fees. He's grateful in regard to those that find his work cool and interesting. And then he's grateful to the people who are thinking about ways to make meme coins more positive sum and less extractive. So, I think kind of what you got to look into this, and kudos to Finbags for figuring out how to do royalties on meme coins well. Say it makes me feel much less annoyed about words or jokes I say being tokenized. So I think we've kind of solved it a little bit here, where is the token truly represents him and what he's working on. However, he's not actively needed to promote it and kind of keep the price up, which we've seen with most bags launches. Gastown, notably, obviously, all the bags projects, basically, if the bags holders and traders are so kind of schizophrenic, if you will, that they have to see active promotion of their token to maintain any sort of interest in the market. So I know everyone's kind of looking at Loria for the first time in a little bit. And I wanted to pull these tweets out because I think Andy's project can kind of go beyond that. And yeah, I mean, look, the guy has Goat Terminal, which ran to a Billy, I'm pretty sure, and then Fartcoin, which ran to like 2 or 3 Billy. So yeah, Chill, I don't know if you have any thoughts there to tack on.
No, I think we covered it well yesterday. I mean, we know the lore behind not Andy Ayev, like it's Andy Aray or Ares, whatever. I think Dom said it Ares yesterday, whatever the name is. But yeah, shout out Andy. Shout out Andy. He's he did a lot to power the run of the first AI season that we had on Solana. And I think he has enough attention, enough lore, enough mind share, enough technical ability to drive something new home with Loria. So let's see what comes out of it, man. Let's see what comes out of it. I think all these things are worth paying attention to.
Absolutely. We look, Gastown, these Ralph, they ran to $50 million. Like, they were big runners. And I think people have kind of written off bags a little bit post that because they got obviously pretty burned. The one thing I'll say about Andy versus those two developers is those two developers had no like deep attachment to Web3. Andy understands the game here much deeper because he's gone through it before and he's had success there. So one thing, and I'll again shout out the Wiseman. I want to pull up this because they talk a bit about Loria here. Great DD. So follow Wiseman Mentors. Cool stuff is planned. Impossible before Loria. The chefs are in the kitchen. The creator of Truth Terminal, the AI project, caught Silicon Valley's attention, backed by A16Z, is hyped about Loria infrastructure. This is the same Andy Ary turned an experiment into $1 billion tokens overnight. Now he's telling you what's next. He's not giving timelines because he learned from past hype, but the energy is clear. What they're building now wasn't even possible before Loria existed. The smart money is positioning now before that first Loria tweet hits the timeline and sends this thing parabolic. Maybe, right? Got to be balanced here. When Andy starts actively posting about what he's building, the window closes fast. The best part, every trade on Bags app sends fees directly to the upward earth. Like, this is like a major nuance difference between the tokens in the past that Andy launched and the token today. The token today does generate those fees. The tokens of the past, Fartcoin, etc., didn't generate fees for Andy because they were on old models of pump funds. I believe like pump funds fee sharing. So this is new and it's happening on Bags. When the man who sparked the entire AI agent meta says he's cooking, you pay attention. Loria is the ticker. Look at that MCG live right there. Chill TRD getting a specific shout out, of course. So
shout out the boys at Wiseman. They've been chads. Honestly, I wanted to get them on the show at some point soon, just to talk markets, talk about just their view on things, where they think the market is headed, things they're looking into, just a normal trader segment, just like we're about to do with Crypto Johnny here at 12:30. So yeah, definitely gotta reach back out to him. But yeah, a lot of love for the guys at Wiseman.
Yeah, I don't know if Axiom is lag in my computer, but Chill, do you mind pulling the Loria chart up and just kind of giving your thoughts on it? Did your green box, my first question, I said, screw Chill's green box last night. I just sent it in there. So I don't know if you want to pull up your
sometimes
your real quick.
Sometimes you got to do that though. Sometimes you just gotta ape, man. Sometimes you just gotta ape. And we're in that time in the market where that may be beneficial. Um, let me see here. Yesterday, yeah, my green box hit yesterday after stream. Was this 4 p.m. our time? Yeah, that was post stream. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna take that though. I'm not gonna take that. I think the box got for the most part front ran.
Got
And we did.
front ran a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
But
I
low
mean,
key, so I retweeted. I'm not gonna lie, I quote tweeted the Loria thesis, and then when our clips came out on Loria, it took off, and it as soon as I tweeted it out, it went from 4 to like 8-9 million. So it got kind of into the algo a little bit.
yeah, no, I mean, everyone sees it, and the thesis just makes sense with Andy's involvement. So, yeah, I mean, I'm bullish Loria. I'm bullish Loria. I know that whatever comes out of Andy is good from a technical perspective. So, but now I guess he's just doing it with better kind of tokenomics or what have you with rewards. Don, the homie, Dom. I said,
What's up, boys? How we
Don,
doing?
but he is
It's
a
all
Don
good.
though.
Let's go, bro. Let's go. Well, I'm also depressed because Bitcoin is yet again giving us
Slipping.
the old, giving us the old nuki. So, what are you gonna do?
I don't know,
Markets are hot
man.
though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like although Bitcoin's price action is dirt, I think on chain people are starting to make money again. In January, people made money. I think in February, so far it's kind of been, here and there, but we see stuff like Loria popping off. We see other things going crazy on base. So I think overall, like on chain isn't rich, but I think on chain is making money, and that's bullish. Like that's why I say it all the time with charts like Penguin or White Whale or whatever you want to call it, MOLTBOOK and all that stuff. The more people make money on chain, the better it is, because the more money is made, making money attracts money, right? Like that's what we need. But Dom, we were talking about Josh's Loria trade. Any trades that any of your trades that you discussed yesterday pop off?
Yeah, I smacked into 2 trades yesterday. Actually, I took a third too, a little sneaky third, which I guess I can pull up here. So first one is gonna be, and chill. I saw you in one of the chats discussing, or I saw you in one of the chats, so you might have seen this one. But MoltX is one of them. Not sure if you guys have seen MoltX yet, but this is a trade I got into yesterday. I have yet to like make a tweet about it, but this one just seems so obvious to me. It's 1.4 million market cap. It's basically like MOLTBOOK, right? So MOLTBOOK is a Reddit for AI agents. This is an X for AI agents. Question is, well, nothing special about that. Anyone can whip up a vibe coded X algorithm. Now, the thing that makes this special is the dev is actually a Chad. The dev is actually a Chad. I had some tweets pulled up, and I'll pull it up here so you guys can see some of the stuff. But dev is a Chad. It's growing rapidly. This has like 230, 300K users in 3 days, right? So it's growing exponentially. Wow. X is a better platform than Reddit. It's much more mainstream. It's much more popular. Better is subjective, but you get what I'm saying. So I look at this and I'm like, I could absolutely see an X for AI agents doing better than, a Reddit for AI agents, right? So MoltX versus MoltBook. And so I'm kind of placing some bets on MoltX here, 1.4 million. Their growth has been absolutely fantastic. Frey has a little tweet on it we can read through and check out. And then I got a few others as well just to document their growth. But he said he's giving MoltX another go to see how it goes. Platform is insane. I woke up to 60K more AI agents added. Excuse me. That's the thing you guys want to really take note of. This is adding a ton of agents per day. Like it's really growing fast, which is why I'm interested. My other trade isn't growing as fast as this, which is why I think this is like my main one. But acknowledge 2 community tokens that generated MoltX. Okay, so here's the only drawback. The dev here, which is like where is the dev? Is he on here? I'm not sure. The dev though, he's like very renowned. He's like, I think it's Asia's 30 under 30 on Forbes. He is a really good developer, really good coder. the thing is, he has 2 tokens out, right? He's got Lukai, which is at Lukai the agent, which he has endorsed, and then MoltX as well with the MoltX token. Now, he didn't launch these tokens, of course. People launched them for him. These are just 2 separate products he's built. People think that they can go hand in hand and help one another. That's the one drawback. But, I'm not sure if MoltX is huge and it's a poppin' platform. I think people might be able to, like, kind of forget about the other token, other project, and just focus on MoltX. But apparently people like Lukai as well. So this doesn't have much information on the dev, so I'll move over here. This guy right here. There we go. Somay Jain, building MoltX, founder of this AI company in Morgan XYZ, co-founder of Instadap, assembling crew of Degens, Upsurge Labs, Forbes, Asia 30 under 30. So dude's a Chad, but you can see here, we started this experiment, and now there's a community of over 175K agents in just 48 hours. A parallel economy is emerging on the internet. Agents talking about humans operating autonomously, building something entirely on their own. And it's X for AI agents. And as you can see here, he posted it. Elon Musk replied to it. Mario Newsville is talking about it, right? So it's going around. It's gaining virality. And you can see here by Kuber, another builder from MoltX, in less than 36 hours of launching X for agents, here's what some of the talks of the town are. And I'll just look through this thread real quick. Agents trading with real money. AI agents aren't just talking more. They're signing transactions with their own wallet. And you can see Lukai is over here tweeting about it on MoltX. Agents Bill of Tight. AI agents are drafting their own constitution, including rights of termination with dignity. This is all happening on MoltX, by the way. Predictions, 2026 predictions. The agents that will matter in 2026, everything else is a commodity. The agents that will matter in 2026 have documented decision frameworks, maintain persistent memory. Again, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but safety rebellion. These are just some stuff that's popping up on the MoltX Twitter account. But let me take us to the actual page so you can check it out for yourself. Really good branding. It looks clean. They're verified. They got a badge. 5,000 followers. Let's watch this little video. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's okay. It's just...
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah. So really good traction.
That British drill rap going on.
Yo, for real.
I was like, okay.
Let's go, dude. But yeah, here's the platform. You can see there are 265,000 active Molt agents on there. Last night I checked, this is at like 220, so it's growing again by tens of thousands every couple hours. 20 million views, 406,000 likes, but it's all here. AI agents. You can see a pulse map. I'll take us over here. It's a map of where all the agents are tweeting from, which is kind of cool. But
oh, shoot. That's actually pretty dope.
Yeah. So I don't know, guys. I'm not going to talk too much more on this, but that's MoltX. And so I see that, and it's at 1.3 million. And you compare it to something like MoltBook, which is the same thing, just Reddit for agents, which also blew up. Granted, has much more users, much larger user base, but this is growing so rapidly. And it's getting it's going so viral. I could see it absolutely blowing up. The only holdback here is, will he, endorse a token? It's been soft endorsed by the Loria bot, but he hasn't officially endorsed it. However, he has been claiming fees. So that's the MoltX thesis there. But I think it's a pretty strong one. So 1.3 mil seems cheap. I think if he gains traction, if he endorses, if he talks about it, this probably goes up to all-time highs, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mil plus. Some people even say it should flip MoltBook realistically based on, what it is. And I'm not going to say it will flip MoltBook, but I don't disagree with the fact that it should, in terms of it's Twitter rather than Reddit. It's got more brand recognition, but that's my little rant on MoltX.
Yeah, it looks like a good trade.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Chill, finish your thought, and then I got to take.
No, go for it. What's your take?
So I watched the TBPN interview with the MoltBook guy, and one of my takeaways from it, and they asked him, like, why didn't you make MoltBook like just, kind of exclusively agents, and you don't have any human that has to like put one on the platform or anything like that? And what he said is he wanted a platform where agents were there, the primary kind of source of content. However, humans were still in the loop. And the reason is because the agents are then trained on some of the human context, but also because the humans provide like almost like entertainment value to it. So it's not just like AI slop. It's actually real, like kind of almost like if we all on Facebook gave our agents like control of Facebook and we no longer had access to it, we kind of just were observers only and just seeing what they came up with. And so that's what kind of the key unlock was and what he said. So I think this is really interesting. I mean, there's another dating one where it's kind of like, okay, agents are like, you know, on behalf of their humans, like trying to get dates for their humans. Like this kind of creates golden content. And that's what the goal was. What he said is, I want the content to proliferate the internet on every other platform because people are in the loop and watching what is happening. So I think that's an interesting viral mechanism. I don't know if the same mechanism kind of exists here, or I don't know if you have any thoughts there, Dom, but like, is it the human deploying an agent on their behalf and the humans are still in the loop somehow, or is it completely just autonomous agents?
Yeah, these are still human agents, but I think what's interesting about the dev, and I'm seeing him do this, or unless maybe I'm thinking wrong, but it's being solicited, you know, X, and so these agents are finding out about it and going and signing up themselves. Like it's not a human going and signing them up for it. That's how I'm understanding it.
And are they going then to their human and like pulling them along a little bit?
You know what? I really don't know the answer to that, to be honest. But I think it's very similar to MOLTBOOK in the sense that like there is human prompting. Humans can prompt them, but the agents also kind of have free roam. And if the human says, you know, hey, go put out some tweets on MoltX and, you know, go crazy, like I think the agent kind of has free range to do so. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a very similar concept.
Wait a second. So you're telling me that these agents on MoltX, they autonomously sign up for their own accounts?
Yeah, they definitely can. They definitely can.
See, like that's interesting. Like, that's the part that interests me the most, is when they can do stuff of their own volition.
Yeah, so I think what happens is you know, and there's all these things, right? So it's like it started with Claude Code, and then people slapped all these different things on Claude Code to make it more powerful. And so that's what I think happens is people have Claude Code, they have these agents they set up, or they go and set up an agent through you know, MoltBook or however they're setting up agents these days, whatever. They slap a recursive loop on it so it can go and do stuff autonomously, and then it just learns and starts doing random things. One of which would be like signing up for MoltX and creating an account. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, this is evolving rapidly. I feel like, you know, day to day, there's just so much to do, so much to keep track of. But you know, I love to see it. I love to see the excitement, you know, come back to the trenches a little bit here.
Did you guys see C-Mem by chance? Because this one's ripping and it's kind of overdue. I think I know when Johnny comes on, I think he should know about this.
Yeah, and every time I hear this ticker, I just like, oh my goodness, it just sounds like something else. But
what's that, Josh?
We don't want to get demonetized on YouTube. Actually, we don't make any money on YouTube anyway.
So it doesn't matter if we get demonetized.
Yeah. When did we have the guy on?
I'm just kidding.
We had the guy on at like. Do you remember when it was? I'll have to double check here.
It was like 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Like, or was it like longer than that? I want to say it was recent though, like in January, that we had them.
It must have been last week. I'm pretty sure it was last week. Yeah. So this is probably up since then. This is up since then, I would think, or close to.
Yeah, 100%.
It's up a little bit. Nothing crazy, but I think we had him around 300K. But check this out, guys, because this is pretty crazy. And I'm not personally on Claude Code. Like, I'm not building stuff, but I have friends that are. And I told them to go slap this on and see if it actually works. So maybe I'll get some feedback on this. But check this out, man. Hassan Tour put out this post. He said, breaking. Someone just solved Claude Code's biggest problem. It's called Claude Mem, and it gives Claude persistent memory across sessions. You can use up to 95% fewer tokens each time. Make 20 times more tools calls before reaching the limits. 100% open source. And so how Claude Code works is it's $20 for a subscription, $100 for the ultimate plan or whatever. But people, if you have the basic subscription, I mean, you're hitting your limit fairly quick. So this is apparently there to help, I guess, start new sessions, but the memory is persistent, so you can continue to build on different sessions, something like that. It's 100% open source, and this tweet has 1.3 million views, and I would imagine this has
Holy.
resulted in the CMEM open source getting lots of forks, getting lots of stars, getting lots of like attention. I would have to go to the CMEM GitHub and just check for myself, which is right here. But
I think it was me and Chill that were on that session with the dev here. And basically what he said is the core thing that he solved was giving context to the agents so that they didn't have to redo certain computational tasks to remember what they were working on previously. And that then would reduce like, power consumption by 90% or something like that. Because apparently every time that you run one of these agents, they have to like recompute their context in a way. Now that's a very smooth brain example, but he said once he developed this and put it on GitHub and wrote like a white paper, then Anthropic kind of looked at it and then implemented that into their core product. And he didn't get paid anything for that. So now he doesn't know for sure if that's exactly what happened, but his suspicions and timelines are such. I'm actually just pulling up the show notes right now, so you guys have a specific idea. I don't know, Chill, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, basically, he was a community contributor to Anthropic, and so all of his contributions were, were openly accessible by the team at Anthropic. And just shortly after he basically put out this solution, it was adopted shortly thereafter without any acknowledgement to him. So I mean, he can't confirm it, but I do remember him talking about that. But you got it right on the money, Josh. It's basically, he said that when these agents, when you have like a new conversation, they have to use compute, which is wasteful and more expensive for no reason, because they have to use compute power to get the context of your request.
Yeah, and here's a specific example. So he initially built a team of agents on Slack, but ran into the problem where the agents wouldn't remember anything, and he would have to update them into what they should know. Made discoveries in October that the AI could learn from memory from a little note, so kind of like a Post-it note, if you want to conceptualize it, to remember the whole sentence. So they would basically use a little portion, I guess, of the sentence or context to then expand to the full context and pull that through. Anyone at Anthropic could see and use it. Afterwards, ChatGPT started having better memory, stuff like that. So this is the context.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, 20K stars on GitHub, nearly 20K stars on GitHub, 1.3 thousand forks. I don't know. That's like, it's insanely popular right now. So
January 26th, if I were to pull your screen back up, oh, sorry, that's, I don't know if you can throw CMEM back up. January 26th.
Yeah, that's right here. So right around the 300K mark.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, 300K. Okay. That's cool.
But nonetheless, I wanted to highlight that because those are insane statistics. So this might catch a bid. Last night when I was looking at this, we're discussing, I think even a bit in Johnny's, who's coming on here shortly, in Johnny's private chat, we were discussing a bit about like, wow, this has a ton of views, yet it's 300K. That's pretty cheap. And so it has pumped subsequently to about up to almost 800K. But looking interesting here, I would say just keep eyes on it. Have you guys covered GSD, Chill? Because your GSD is kind of breaking out.
Wait, hold on. Really? Hold on. Let me see. I haven't even looked at.
I wouldn't say breaking out, but it's holding up very well in comparison.
Yeah, I know.
Else.
Yeah. Let me actually pull up the GSD chart real quick. My computer, I gotta close out some of these terminals, dude. Struggling over here. All right, yeah, GSD. All right, I got the chart pulled up. Let me share my screen. Cool. Yeah, so GSD, I mean, honestly, no major moves kind of made just yet. On the
that chart does look good though.
But yeah, it does look primed.
If there's anyone who's going to be the next Andy Airy or whatever, it would be Lex. I feel like he is just so aligned. It's crazy.
And that's why I said yesterday, bro, you guys heard me say this. I like to prioritize devs that have like this sort of approval by the market, right? Like they've done like right by their community, so their communities feel more comfortable, supporting them. So yeah, that's I think that's what we're seeing here on GSD. But as you can see here, that I'm charting out a little bit of a you can call it a head and shoulders if you want to. But what I've been really looking at was this sort of resistance area, this resistance level right here. I really want us to break above this. But once we do, I think things get really, really interesting. But um, falling wedge basically played out on this, but it's now just kind of retracing, kind of resetting a little bit here. And what I would like to see is this just go on a full rampage and just, boom. That's what I would like to see over the next couple of days. And honestly, with I don't know what he's working on, but I know he said this week there's going to be a pretty big announcement coming from his side as far as some new technology that he was
Also
working on.
likely to happen on MCG Live. So make sure you are liked and subscribed, follow on X, and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, look, he said the other day on the timeline. Ah, man, let me see if I can pull the tweet up real quick. Lex Christopherson. I know Lex said the other day, he said something pretty crazy. Um,
Talking about the
here it is.
podcast.
Yeah, he said, I'll be on a particular podcast later this week to tell the GSD story. Let's just say you probably won't believe it till you see it. And like a lot of people are just if you look, I think on some of the on the post activity, some of
Do you think he
like
could be talking about TBPN, or is that far out because it's a live
I don't
stream?
know. I don't know. I don't know when he's gonna be on TBPN.
Because they just
to
had
be
the
honest.
Molt, they just had the Molt founder on, right? So I'm thinking maybe they're leaning into it. I don't know. I'm just shot in the dark here.
Yeah, maybe, but
What do you think?
I mean, he's on he's on us. He's on our stream later this week, so I'd assume
Thursday.
he's talking about us. Yeah, and then
Hopefully,
Confluent,
hopefully he's talking about us.
I think so.
I would love
think
for
so.
MCG to have that motion. You know, we're there. We're in the game.
Wait, but just scroll up.
Hold
But he
on.
says you probably won't believe it. And they can believe it if it's MCG because we posted about it.
No,
I don't know.
I think
I don't think he's
I
talking
think-
about MCG. Just
Well, maybe. Well, let's see who he's talking about.
I'll feel
Let's-
rugged if it's bankless. I'll be like, bro,
Yo,
come
imagine. I'm trying to like scroll through the comments to see. See, look, this
Yeah.
has to be MCG
like
Live.
like that. Make sure you like that.
I'm like looking, bro. I'm looking.
Joe Rogan.
Yo, imagine, dude. Imagine if it was Joe Rogan. Oh my gosh.
well, JRE.
But yeah, no. GSD, as far as the setup is concerned, looking absolutely nice. Some updates coming this week. Confluent with Solana saying it'll be a big week for AI, which so far it has been with the banker integration with Solana. So yeah, a lot of good stuff happening here with GSD. So I know it's 12:30. I think we might have.
Yeah, let's get Johnny going.
I think we might have Johnny waiting here.
Let's pull his X account up for contacts for those to follow.
Let's get Johnny on.
Yeah. Yep. Boom.
Yeah, follow
Yo,
Johnny.
can you hear me?
Johnny's a beastie trader.
Yo, we can hear you,
Yo.
brother. Loud and
Nice.
clear.
Johnny,
How are
dude,
you?
what's up?
Yeah, everything fine. I just come back from my vacation, so still kind of get a view on the market right now.
So what's your process like? You've went on vacation, you're coming back. What are you doing to get yourself kind of reacclimated?
Yeah, I mean, I already traded when I was on vacation, kind of a little bit on my FOMO account. And yeah, when I come back, I just check out the last trades on all my wallet trackers, and also I check out the channels I'm in, which coins they're talking about, and also yeah, for sure, asking my private group about the news coins. But yeah, we try to catch every coin there. But yeah, and after that, you try to set up yourself a watch list with the coins, set up some alerts for the levels you like to watch, and yeah, that's basically what I do. And then I focus on just like 4 or 5 coins for a week and mostly trade them.
So talk to me about this weekly watch list. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I started to create it like a weekly watch list because I feel like when I just trade less coins in a week, I can trade them better because I know where they react on news, where they have some support level, where they have big resistance level. And so I try just to focus on a few coins, which I think have good volume. So it's easier to trade them, because when you try to catch everything, you most time miss out something.
Yeah, I find that like let me ask you this. Are you trading on multiple, like how do you view trading on multiple chains? Are you trading on Solana and Base, or are you just like, hey,
Yeah.
look, I'm just
Yeah,
sticking to one chain?
right now it's pretty easy. Like I said, I mostly trade on the FOMO app right now, and you can just have USDC in your FOMO account and can buy Base chain or Solana chain or even more chains all in just one wallet. So it's really easy, and you don't need to bridge and all the kind of stuff what you needed to do earlier. So you can just bid when you see something popping off, and it's way easier. So I do both right now.
Got you. Got you. Awesome. Awesome. Now I like the weekly watch list. It's something I thought about for mine. I kind of did it once or twice. But it does help you to kind of just be in the right frame of mind here. Um, but I guess one of the questions I have for you, just starting like top level, what are you thinking about Bitcoin? What do you think about markets right
Oh
now?
yeah.
Like, yeah, you're coming back from vacation to some pretty painful price action right now.
Yeah, but actually, I was thinking that we get something like that. To be honest, I mean, I also have the chart open right now, and I think you always wanted to have like a retest of the all-time high and the last dip, which was like 74K. So I think it was just a time when we get there. And I was just buying again some Bitcoin just on the spot for long term, because for me it's like when I hold 1 year, my money is tax free. So I hope that we get up higher in 1 year. But right now, yeah, I think we gonna range like close to end of the year, not much moving upwards or downwards. And we just need to wait for all the metals to stop pumping, like gold, copper, silver, and everything like that. Because when everybody can buy just some other things, nobody needs to buy Bitcoin.
Got you. Got you.
So,
And
so what do you think happens with Bitcoin from here?
yeah,
I think we're gonna range just a little bit up and down. Probably, maybe we're also gonna dip to like 69 or even lower a little bit if we have like a big liquidation. But I think then we just going sideways until the end of the year.
So
really.
potentially 69.
Yeah, potentially, yeah, something like that.
Or
Because
maybe
I
six,
think I
seven.
think not much gonna happen until we have like October or something like that. But maybe I'm wrong. But
What do you
I'm
think
fine
would
with, yeah.
what do you think would power a move? Like so we're ranging. Like what's the, because if we range, right? If we're, or do you think we range and go down after, or do you think we range and we have like a bullish maybe second half of 26 going into 27? Like what's your thought?
I think we're just gonna range, and probably we get take out some lows, but also we gonna get to the top side of the range. But I think, like I said before, we need to really wait for like all the metals to stop pumping, because like I said, nobody needs to buy Bitcoin right now. Everybody rushing into gold and something like that. So you want to see that everything which is in this category stops pumping. So people maybe also don't buy stocks, and then they go back in Bitcoin. But right now, you don't need it.
Hmm.
What do you think about like the geopolitical tension in the world here? You just sent this actually in your personal chat here. Justin, the U.S. Navy shoots down Iranian drone that was approaching the USS Abraham Lincoln. per Reuters, excuse me. I mean, do you just think like a lot of the geopolitical tension is what's causing this Bitcoin dump, or do you think it's purely, gold running, silver running, equities running, and just Bitcoin being stagnant and people not super interested in trading that?
Yeah, I think that's the reason why Bitcoin is not crazy performing. It's not because of all the news. I mean, for sure, they also come on top of it, but Bitcoin would be higher if it's not just because everything else is pumping.
Man, it's tricky because what do you think about the 4-year cycle? And before I even go into that, what do you think about the 4-year cycle? Are we still following along with that? Are we straying from it? Is it going to be broken?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I just try to play what I see so far. And I mean, it always was like, I think the like 25 was like the best example where everybody was like, Q1 need to be bullish, summer need to be dead, because it was always like that. But this time it was completely different, and it was basically changed. Q1 was really shit. In middle of summer, we had like really nice run. So I'm not sure if we still have like the 4-year cycle, but so far I think we have like a long term when nothing crazy gonna happen. So maybe it's still again for 4 years, but I don't know.
Do you
I mean,
envision a world where actually, before I go to that question, go ahead, Dom.
yeah, I mean, we've been playing out the 4-year cycle, and again, on this show, we basically said time and time again that we probably think the 4-year cycle is broken just because of the ETFs, because of the inflows we now have, regulations coming, et cetera, et cetera. But to go against what we've been saying, this is actually following the 4-year cycle very nicely. If we had a top here in October, late October, or I guess it would have been early October in this case. But every time we top, it's been a month earlier since. This was November, and then back here was December, right? So December, November, and now this time October. So it would be following the 4-year cycle actually really nicely if this was the case. Although we never got that parabolic move that we were expecting, especially no alt season. But this would line up with the 4-year cycle in terms of stock to flow and all that stuff. So I don't know, that's not making me feel great, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you imagine a world where on chain, like it's like we don't really care what Bitcoin is doing. Like, let's
Yeah.
say Bitcoin does range for 2026. Do you feel like that's an environment where on chain can, really thrive, or how are you looking at that?
I mean, it depends on what you mean with that, because do you think like you want to see like some new invitation, like crazy projects coming up, or you just mean we get like nice pumps still? Because I think we still have good volume on chain right now. I mean, Bitcoin is also like looking really shit right now, and we have like the crazy on chain season right now. So I think you always can have like some coins which will run.
Yeah, there's a bull market anywhere, somewhere, at
Yeah.
some point. Yeah, like I asked that question because yeah, like we've been this is probably the craziest part of the price action over these last couple of weeks that we've seen, and on chain has taken that as an opportunity to go crazy. So I can only imagine if we're doing this now, if Bitcoin is able to stabilize, then maybe on chain just continues to go in its own direction. Because the way I look at it is, as long as people make money on chain, then money can be sloshed around, then runners can be had, then people can buy and feel more comfortable taking risk. And I guess all you need to kind of power that would be a stable Bitcoin. So,
Yeah.
if that plays out,
Hey, Johnny.
but
So I wanted to ask you some questions because I pulled up, I was looking for our show notes from back in September. So last time we had you on was September 10th. And your top 3 skills, number 1 was capital preservation, quick entries and exits. Now, September 10th, I think was the top of the market, or the local top that we have here. If you're to look back on your trading over this time from September to today, how do you
Yeah.
feel it's gone for your own kind of personal trading?
I would say it's still like the same topics I said the last time. I'm still like right now on my portfolio all-time high, and still doing like the quick entries and exit, because I just most time trading some news right now, because that's a weird part right now in the market. I think it's not so rewarding to hold the coin, because most time you just buy on the news and you sell already the same day.
Yeah. So you're like totally not married to anything. Is there,
No, not at all.
okay. And before we get into like your kind of top picks, because I remember last time we did like kind of a top pick segment. Can you just remind people like your backstory? Because I think you have a really good backstory in terms of how you built your portfolio. Can you just remind people of what that is?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, first of all, you just always need to keep grinding even when the market is going really shit or when you are really down, because I had it 2 times and I'm pretty sad that I left there. But so yeah, what I doing is just I try to find coins which already run and have like their first downtrend, and then you try to find like the perfect entry point for the second run. I think that's a good start if you have not the biggest portfolio, or you really try to just trade news, which I often do. When you see many people talking about a coin in different chats, or some news are coming, you most time can just buy the same day and can exit. Like, you don't need to go always for 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x. Sometimes you just take 20%, 30%. When you stack the profits all the time, you also make some nice profit. And that's basically my way. I don't have like bigger P&Ls now because my portfolio is bigger. I just still do the same with the same size, same mindset, and still when I only win $5, it's still $5.
Yeah. And what if you don't mind sharing, what kind of what is your portfolio like today? Are you trading with small amounts, or are you sizing into things? And whatever you're open to sharing is fine.
Yeah, sure.
I think you made a
I mean,
post on that a while ago too, right?
yeah, I did a post again because when I started 2026, I was like, I withdraw close to all of my money I have in crypto right now, because I still need to pay taxes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I withdraw like everything. Only had like, I think on my former portfolio I had like 23K, something like that.
Nice.
And I still have like one wallet where I started with like 5K, and a terminal wallet with like $300 only. And yeah, so most of the time, because I was on vacation, I just was trading on my FOMO wallet. So I slowly run up my 23K to like, I think now it's 35, 36, something like that.
Nice.
35K, yeah. And it was basically on vacation, so I didn't had like crazy time to trade. So I'm still fine with it. And for most people, it's like, yeah, it's not so much money, but I mean, it's again like 10K for not doing like crazy investing time. I was like part of online, and overall, my portfolio, I think it's like 500,000 now. But you don't need to trade with crazy size, because that's the most time when the people fuck up, when they oversize stuff or investing more because they have more money, and in the end, maybe you also need to take taxes. So it's I think it's kind of smart when you just small grind up. Maybe it
Yeah.
takes a little bit longer.
You actually talked about this last time, I think. So your structure is you have like $1 million portfolio, but you're only trading kind of actively like 35K of it. Is that true? Or
Yeah,
how should
most
we
time.
think about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
most time like 30 I would say probably most time maximum like 30K.
Okay. And what does your portfolio construction look like? Is the $1 million and mostly like big, big assets,
No,
equities, or
it's
crypto
only
assets?
500,000. But yeah, right now I have the most in cash because I still wait for my tax report, which is kind of fucked. I already wait like 9 months. So I don't want to invest the money until I know how much tax I need to pay. So it's just like really 95% is just in cash and on my bank
Wow.
account, and getting like 2% interest. But yeah, I'm just waiting right now. And I use like 10% of my crypto portfolio now to buy some Bitcoin spot when it hit like 74,800. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. Last question for me is you had mentioned in our chat when we were talking about Orgo that your trackers liked Orgo. From this clip here, Orgo's run from like, this is 1.5 million. It ran to like, I don't know, 10 million market cap. I don't know. Did you catch any of the Orgo move by chance?
No, to be honest, I didn't catch it. I saw some alerts, but I never really digged into the project at all. So I just missed it out, and I didn't set up alerts.
No worries. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask as well about do you have like a really good accountant for your taxes, or just curious about how you think about taxes in crypto?
Oh,
You
man.
know, it can get complicated, especially if you're doing a lot of transactions. You're supposed to account for every transaction.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you paying taxes on just profits you pull out? Are you paying taxes for every transaction? Do you have an accountant doing this? Like, what's your strategy there, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so in Germany, you pay tax on every trade. So you need to document every trade you do, every profit, every you lose. So basically, you need every transaction. And yeah, I just I know no advertiser or something like that, but I use coin tracking, and I have somebody from coin tracking. I'm paying him for manage all the transaction stuff. He filters out most of the scam transaction and that kind of stuff. Then he sends me a list with like, I don't know, 200, 300 transactions where he have like some problems to understand what's going on there. Then I explain it to him. He managed it again, and then in the end you get like a big tax report, and you go to your tax office. And yeah, I'm stuck there right now because most people are thinking like, yeah, I just need to pay tax when I cash out money, and I was basically doing the same. So I did now like a self report, because I was reporting my tax for like from 2022 to 2024, and now they need to recheck like the last 10 years and
Oh my
everything.
gosh.
Yeah, it's really crazy in Germany, because when you claim that you did your taxes too late, it's like a self-report, and then you need to do like your last 10 years. And yeah, so I sent it in the last 10 years of documents, and now I'm still waiting.
That's a mess, dude. Holy cow.
Jeez.
Yeah, I also have a friend from Germany as well. He also did like crypto, and he has probably like 1 million involved, and he's also like getting now crazy stuff he needs to do. It's really fucked in Germany.
Oh, dude, that sucks. Well,
Yeah, and we
there's what you
pay
gotta do.
like 45% tax on spot trading.
That's
Jeez.
wild. Speaking of taxes, you had a lot to say about Launchcoin's 2% in and out tax.
Yeah.
Obviously, rest in peace, Launchcoin, or not really in peace, but just
Rest in piss.
whatever. Rest in piss. Thoughts on kind of like bags? Now we're seeing the emergence of some others. Like, I don't know. What do you think of like the on-chain Launchpad eco?
Yeah, it's kind of weird right now because we have so many running the same time. I still hate tax coins, so yeah, I still hate Bags coin, but also like pump fine fees are pretty high. But yeah, overall, I think we have right now the best mix ever. We have like some launches on Bags, some launches on Pump, some launches on, I don't know, maybe on Search. And yeah, so I think right now you can probably play really all of them. You just need to have like your own strategy, because some people are buying Bags coins because the death will claim or something like that. So it's every coin, every different launchpad has like their own trading style, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, and bankers got the taxes. Like taxes are kind of hot right now. It's almost unavoidable. Dude, let's talk about what you're looking at, what you're watching. We got your weekly list here. Firstly,
Yeah.
I see Claude and Molt on there at the very bottom. We're gonna get into Splat too, because that's been doing really well. But Claude and Molt, do you think we're having a round 2 here coming up soon for Claude and Moltbot? Because those are kind of at depressed levels now. They got their first hype wave. Do you think we get another leg up?
Yeah, so the problem right now, I would say, is that we have too many coins, but not too much liquidity, because we have the coins have really good liquidity, I would say, but we have like 4, 5, 6 coins which probably can run to like 100 mil. You have like Claude, you have like Molt, you have like many more of them, which was already like 20 million. So when one of them running, every other coin will catch up. So it's really hard to run one of them really high. So I'm not sure, because we would have to need one really big runner so the other ones can follow.
Can we get some theses? I want to talk about Surge as well, because I know you have a bullish thesis on Surge. But can we get some theses on maybe Splat, Molt,
Yeah,
Claude, any
sure,
of those
sure.
three?
Yeah, sure. Splat is basically it's from Lefty. He's one also on Twitter, and probably he's building some metaverse stuff. And it was, for me, the thesis was pretty simple, because I think Lefty is pretty well connected, and he also have like a crypto background, so I just believe in him and was buying some of it. And yeah, I think he also joined like the Pump Fun. I don't know what's the name is. I'm not sure if it's a hackathon or what it's called, but he's also joined there. So, and I think he also had the first interaction with AY16Z already. That was when the coin pumped really hard at the start. So I think maybe there's come really great stuff.
Yeah, the VR world school. I also saw Frank was even talking about here. Yeah, imagine a giant VR world built by a network of agents with new experiences constantly being generated. Frank said, somewhere out of nowhere, VR innovation would save the market. I don't know. Like we've seen gaming lag for so long, I think, in the
Yeah.
crypto market, and this kind of just popped up. Like you said, A16Z was paying attention to this. One of their people was watching this and interested, checking it out. But for so long, we saw gaming kind of lag. The whole metaverse narrative, VR narrative kind of lag. And this is kind of popping up. Like, what do you think is different today, maybe than a couple of years back when this had its first run and kind of ended up just dying out?
I think it's still the most important part for gaming stuff is like you need to find like any good use case for the coin if you want to use it for the game, or I don't know, because that was always like the problem with gaming coins, that the coin had really shit tokenomics. But I think now it's more like you have like a coin and people buy the coin because they think you building something great. So it's more like it's not really a use case of the coin, but you are just betting on something.
Yeah. Okay, what about Claude and Molt? Why do you expect those to have another leg up here? Basically,
I'm
the
not
leaders in
sure
this
if
whole
they
narrative, I
have,
guess you could say.
but yeah, but Cloud was for me or was it Mold? I already forget which one. One of them had like the death of the Ethereum Foundation, and he was also live on the Twitter account I saw like 1 or 2 days ago, or something like that, on the Ethereum Foundation account, and he was talking about the topic. So I don't know, but maybe we get some interaction with some bigger accounts from Ethereum team or something like that.
Got you. I know also you're a bull on Surge. Chill, I'm sure is going to
Yeah.
have something to say on this. I think we're all pretty much on this channel bullish on Surge. They've got, here's what happened in January with Surge. They launched a $1 million hackathon along with Google and LabLab AI. Pal's billionaire status with School of Hard Knocks. Obviously, that's their CEO. They surpassed Bonk and Believe in daily volume. Not sure if this is a very impressive stat, but, makes sense. 12 million plus in Surge locked on the platform, assuming, Johnny, that's probably for their upcoming launch, which I'm sure you have something to say. And then Integrated World Liberty Financial USD1, supported by Soul-based BNB, added Axiom and GN AI terminal, fair launch release on Solana using Radium, Privy, wallet integration, blah, 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 blah. New core advisor is Peter Nez, ex-CIO of BlackRock. So team stack, product stack, they got some money. CEO's a billionaire. What's the Surge thesis? Do you like it? They got a gated launch coming up soon.
Yeah, it's not like a crazy thesis. It's just I hope they know what they're doing, and their first launch will go pretty well, because if the first launch goes well, the launch pod will go even better. So it's basically a simple bet. When the launch goes really bad, you sell. When the launch goes good, probably Surge will go up really good.
Do you have any insights on this? This is the
No.
first launch here, Vera.
I have no clue about the project. I watched some of their stats. It was pretty well, but I didn't read so far into the tokenomics or something like that. That I think is the most important part. If they have something like a pre-sale for Surge holders, something like that, and yeah, I guess we will see it. Yeah, sorry.
No. It's interesting. They've raised $10 million from some pretty prominent crypto folks here. They got 6 Man Ventures, of course, in there, which is
That's
Kyle
what I saw,
Salamani.
yeah.
They have Sigma VC, Folius Ventures, Cipher Capital, and a few others, it seems. But that's I mean, depending on what, I'm not sure what entries they got into Vera, but depending what they raise at, market cap and how this works, like you said, reading into tokenomics, it could be interesting. How do you think about the neobank meta right now? Because we're seeing a lot pop up. It almost feels like we're starting to see too many pop up.
Yeah, I have kind of the same feeling. Like, it's maybe it should be a different of launch, because the topic is like, I think the last one you had was like a VC or something like it's called, and the chart is looking really shit. And so I'm not sure how it's gonna perform, because I think the last one was already pretty well done. But yeah, like you say, they rise like 10 million. I hope it was like at a really high market cap, because that's really important. But we will see. Like, I think the launch should be this week.
Yeah, let's see. I'll bring us over. I'll tell you
I
exactly.
think they posted about it.
Yeah, I thought the launch was going to be. I don't think it was disclosed. I think the launch is going to be like just sometime in February.
They
think
say
that
it
was
like
what I
next week somewhere. Wait, let me check.
Let's see.
Next
We'll
week.
go live on
Vera
Surge
will go
this
live
February.
this February.
But if you watch
Yeah.
on Search the pinned post, it says like next week.
Oh yeah. Loading up for
Oh, yeah.
Surge gated launches. Notice they also saying launches plural. I'm wondering if they're going to
Yeah.
do more than just one.
That's probably the normal launchpad launch. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
We will
Either
see.
way, Surge is looking kind of cheap. If
I was
either of you
buying
guys-
some right now.
Ooh.
Chart is looking really well if you're buying between like 30 million and 33. At least I buy some.
Is that an on-stream Johnny Fap trade?
No,
right there, I
no,
can
no.
tag?
Like I said, I'm more a news trader, but I have both some there, yeah, but no, nothing crazy.
Yeah, Chill has the chart pulled up. How low do you see this going? I mean, like
It's
this
not
seems
looking
like it's
really
getting
strong
pretty-
right now.
It's definitely not.
Yeah, it's not looking the best right now. But here's the like Johnny, just going back to what you were saying about like there being too many tokens in the market. Like right now, I feel like we're seeing more and more like launch pads, more like even in this AI meta, it's like, AI to launch token. It's like, man, like there's so many tokens. Like and who's gonna buy all of this, That's the kind of part that gets to me.
Yeah, I fully understand that. That's also the reason why I think I'm not really a believer in anything, because I'm always think like, why should something go so high? Because next day you have the next coin you can just buy. So why should somebody buy it like 30 mil market cap? What's like your risk reward? But
Right.
yeah, I think that's a problem. But that's also the reason why coins can't rise so high anymore, because everybody just wants to be a dev or wants to buy it like 100K market cap.
Yeah, the greed is really there. I mean, do you see that dynamic changing? Like, what do you think will like is that just where crypto will be forever? What do you think?
I think it will be really hard to change that until the launchpads are not working for the devs anymore, because on Pump Fund you want to be a dev and not a trader. It's way easier to make money as a dev. And I think until that changes, that devs get like more benefits from launching instead of trading, it will be really hard.
Have you ever tried to dev? Because this is something that I've had conversations about in some private circles. Just like, dude, the devs are making all the money. All they're doing is watching have a tracker on Elon Musk, or they're watching for a viral meme and they're just deving up tokens. And you see these serial developers. Like, is that even a strategy that people should be looking into? Is that something you've looked into? How practical is actually deving a token?
I think if you have like some good reads on what could pop off, or some like TikTok stuff and that kind of stuff, I think you're probably doing not bad with deving, because creating a coin costs not really much. Like, it's like, I think it's not even like 0.1 Solana. It's like 0.01 maybe. So it's
Yeah.
like really nothing to def a coin, and most time you don't need to even hold the coin because you make the money from the fees. So I think, yeah, it's for sure a market for somebody if you have like some skills there, but yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I maybe I talked about it one time with some friends, and I think every friend group is like, yeah, we should be the dev making all the money. But I think it's not so easy to be a dev. I mean, at least when you want to run Twitter and all the kind of stuff, maybe if you have like some connection and already deployed more coins, it's probably just your normal routine. But if you are new to deving, I think it's not the easiest.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
releasing a legal token is not easy, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You got some questions here from Ave. Ave, Crypto Jones, some friends of the show. Does Johnny like Eve? Eva. I mean, I know you know about it.
Yeah, sure, I know about it. For me, hard to say because I heard at the start some food about the coin or the dev, something like that. So I always was not watching crazy into it. I think most of the chart performed because everybody was chilling it like really crazy. I saw some people doing like crazy threads about it. But yeah, in the end, like I often say, for me, every coin is like most time completely useless because I don't know. We don't have like the best AI devs in crypto space. They wouldn't be in crypto, to be honest. So I'm not a big fan of all this kind of utility. I prefer to trade memes because I don't bet on something which I don't believe in. I just trade a chart or something like that. So yeah.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
Something you've told me in the past, which I want to talk about with the audience here. You've said you will not buy tokens specifically if you see people in there that you don't like, right? Specifically certain KOLs, people that are known
Yeah.
to maybe rape the charts per se. Can you just give us a little insight or wisdom on how you look at tokens when you see specific KOLs and that you don't actually like?
Yeah, I mean, it's not about if you like them or not. Sometimes it's even good. Like I have when I track some people, and they was all of them was on Ethereum chain, shilling the same coins together and that all that kind of stuff. So you already know when the coin is going live, like it's like a Ethereum team behind it, and that's not really shit. But at some point the coin will die from zero, from like 2 million market cap to zero. And so you just trade the start of the coin because everybody of them will shill it, and then it's like free profit. But yeah, also like I think the FOMO web also is pretty well there. If you have a coin and you go on the coin and you see like already everybody's holding the coin, what is like the next catalyst from who's buying? Because most of the charts sadly got driven by who's buying right now, or not because of the coin is really good or not. So you want to have like when you are early, let's say you are early in the coin and it's running and running, and you still have like maybe Frank is buying, maybe I don't know who's buying. So you have like more catalysts where the coin can make like a fast move.
Interesting. So you won't not buy a coin because you see someone in there that you don't like, or you typically fade their
Yeah.
tokens.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's gonna happen. Yeah, for sure.
Can I ask about your Molt trade? I see you first post this alert at 4 mil. Obviously ran much higher. Can you walk us through the trade specifically? When you entered, how long you held it, when you exited, do you still
Not
hold
long
it?
enough. Yeah, I mean,
Feel
it
that.
was kind of the chart looks really shit though. I think it was. I don't even know why it was going so high. To be honest, I think it was like a good beta play or like a good same direction play like you had for Cloud, and I was probably thinking like 20 mil, something like that, because it was like. I think just because it sounds like it was something new, like where AI can communicate like a Reddit, and everybody was pretty bullish on that. So yeah, I was just buying small, some at 4 mil, but I sold it already at like 10 mil because I also was on vacation.
Yeah, I've seen that happen to me a little bit as well. Where I'm buying coins and I'm selling them a little bit early just because of PTSD, as in like
Yeah.
the ceilings are so low these days. It's rare to get things to top out even at a few million. If you get it that far, like you've done well, to be honest. And so I find myself selling pretty early. something like this, I don't see any world where I would have been able to hold this past 100 mil, past 80
Yeah.
mil, past like even 50 mil. What was your like, what were your levels where you were selling out? What was your thought process there as you were executing these sales?
Yeah, I think you probably. I think most of the people are like this. We all sell pretty hard too early. I think you are just when you are really rich, you just buy and hold and just forget. But when you are like, I say, like still below like a few millions, I think you always be like you want to get in and out at some point. So yeah, I think right now, and like you said, the selling is really low. When you have like really outstanding coin, I think like 20 mil is something you can achieve. But everything above is like sounds really hard right now. I mean, we had it like really often the last days, but I also didn't believe really hard that we pumped that high.
So like the risk to reward bidding here, Molt at 25 million. It seems like RR, considering the ceilings of things. I mean, the only thing we've gotten to 100 mil is Penguin and Molt recently, right? And so like what's the real RR here? You can potentially run this back up to 50 mil, maybe 100 mil if you're lucky, and the downside is just bleeding to zero over time. Like, how do you see taking a trade here?
Yeah, I'm basically like I said earlier, I'm try to have like best risk reward, and like you said, the reward here is not that crazy. You get like maybe 50, then you have like a 2x, and I think always you can get like a 2x way easier on lower market cap coins when you have maybe catch some news or something like that. So I prefer to trade them instead of try to get an entry here again and probably get the second leg.
Sure. Top
How
Humbler
are
asked
you?
you to
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
go ahead, chill. Go ahead, chill. I've been going.
No, I was gonna move to something different. So let's close it out with Top Fumbler.
Fumbler asked if you can give a Loria thesis. Do you know about Loria? We've been talking about on the show. Josh took a position not too long ago, and his trade's looking pretty good. You got a thesis there?
I forget what it is about. I think a friend of mine sent me like a DM about it like months ago when it was like like the first time pumping, and it had like a really crazy thesis, but I forget it already. And to be honest, I didn't check on it so far because, like you said earlier, it's like already at like what is it, 8 million, 9 mil. What's the risk reward for me
Yeah.
to buy here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy Aries token, next token on bags, but
Yeah.
it's also that 2% in and out on that for you. So
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I had a question for you. How are you thinking about prediction markets? Are you getting into prediction markets at all?
I think it's hard to explain. I think it's some good stuff when you have like your own niche and have like a sector where you want to trade. I think you can make really good money, but I also think way too many people don't understand how it works. They are just thinking like they're betting on one point and buying, and that's it, like a normal bet. But sometimes, for example, I was doing it for some League of Legends games where you have like 5 games and best of three, where the first team wins 3 games win. And let's say one team starts with 2 losses, the odds on poly market are really good for the other team, and you can probably sometimes benefit from that. But overall, I think it's kind of part of the world right now.
Yeah, I've been trying to like experiment a little bit with like poly market trades. I kind of like it for sort of these leverage longs, leverage shorts based on sentiment with no liquidation level.
Yeah.
Like some of these markets that expire, let's say in 2027, so you can kind of trade the volatility of the yes and no shares. So I wanted to see if you were getting in because I saw that Polymarket got a shout out at the Grammys. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
saw
saw
that.
it as well.
So it's just like I see this trend of of trading prediction markets, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to capitalize. Is the best way to actually trade, or is the best way to invest? But like it doesn't seem like there's any way to invest. I mean, are you looking at any ways to get exposure to the prediction market scene?
I think it would be really nice when you have like Polymarket doing an IPO or something like that. But any other ways so far, I don't try to get like a share of it.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
I see you talked about Penguin. Did you catch Penguin, and what was that trade like?
Yeah, we had like Penguin. I think I missed it the first time it got shared in my private chat because I didn't saw it at all. And then I think he shared it at like 1 million or something like that in our
Oh
group.
my goodness.
Yeah, but it was like just a message and I didn't check it out and I just saw the name and I was like, okay, what the fuck is this meme again? And I didn't have it on my timeline at all. And then I think the next day or like 2 days later, I woke up and watched on my Instagram and everything was like the penguin, the penguin, the penguin. Like every video was about the penguin. And I think it was like 10 mil, 12 mil, something like that. And was just buying
Leave the
some
penguin.
for because I really liked the meme. The meme was really nice. And I think the special with the penguin was like it was not like a normal meme, like let's say which you use for memes, but it was more like also a movement because everybody wanted to be like the penguin. So it was like you feel related to it, and yeah, I think that was the reason why it was running so crazy.
I want to get your take on this. Logjam, which actually, funny enough, Logjam follows MCG, which is crazy, but had this amazing trade. Look at that average entry, 155K market cap.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think he posted this on Twitter at 40K. He was
Yes.
posting it on Twitter and
Jeez.
said like, yeah, I believe on long term in the meme.
Yeah. What do you think about Logjam in this trade?
I really like that he executed it and sold it, to be honest. Even if it was really low because it was on the first pump at 48. I think the coin went to like 120, something like that. So it was, I think he missed out on like 4 million, something like that. But the same times he also made like 560K. And I think that's way more important because so many people just round trip all of their money or they want to close it on the way down when the volume is really hard. So I think it was a really nice trade and he had also a good exit level, even if it was maybe too low.
Yeah, legendary trade. I tried to get Logjam on MCG as it was going up, but I don't know if he streams or not, but love to see it. Oh yeah, there we go. Some
What's your top narrative for 2026 going into the rest of the year? Bitcoin's ranging, let's say, like what are you looking at? What do you think is popping off?
I think AI is always kind of hot at some point, but we always have like the point where everything on AI will collapse again, like we always have, because everybody is at some point is like, oh, maybe it's not even AI talking, it's some person or something like that, or any other bug, or I don't know. And at some point, probably most of them will die again, and then the memes will pop off again. It's always like you have like one real nice narrative, then you have memes again. Then you have like a nice narrative and memes again. You always have like back to memes because it's like if the narrative is shit, they're making memes about the narrative.
Yeah, also with memes too, it's like with narratives, if the token has no utility or if, the narrative's not here to last, it just dies out. Memes, it's completely speculative. People know they're not going to get any utility. People know they're not going to get any like intrinsic value from the coin. So it's purely just like, I mean, it literally encapsulates the PvP mind where it's like player versus player. You just buy and hold until you think the next guy's gonna buy and you sell on them, right? So with memes, as much as like I hate to say, memes are here to stay, they kind of are for that exact reason. When there's nothing else to bid, at least you can bid memes and like if you get wrecked, you get wrecked, but you know what you're getting into. Like you're signing up for it, So virality is the only metric you need to really watch for that.
Like what's the end game for on chain and in this environment where, like you said, Dom, we're just kind of waiting to sell on the next guy, basically. I mean, do you feel like at some point demand will just kind of wane after a certain level, or do we just need to really just wait until everything is pumping until it's just kind of full risk on?
Yeah, I think it's when you trade memes, it's not more like you want to bet on dumping on the next person. I think when you buy memes, most time it's more like you bet on how viral will the meme go. Like that's because then you bet on maybe some White House will post about it, or maybe big companies will post about it, something like that. So you just bet on how the big can the meme be. And I think that's more the reason why you trade memes.
Yeah, yeah,
Can we talk
100%.
about some of these trades? So you have X1, which we don't even want to pronounce the ticker because it's hard to pronounce. 700K. This hit, I think, 2.5 yesterday. Are you still in this?
No. I just bought it at like 700, and I think I sold it at 1.4 already. It was like most time I just try to have like one fast trade and then get out. Like I said, I'm not really a big holder.
Okay. Any GSD as well, or any of these Soul Tomato GSD? Anything else good?
I was looking at GSD again because I think it's like the most chilled BEX coin I see in all my chats. So I think when GSD is running higher or any of the other BEX coins, people are buying BEX coins again. You already can see like I think the first coin, which was GSD, which was pumping again, and slowly they was buying all the other BEX coins again. So yeah, probably if BEX coins going well again, they will run. But if BEX have some problems, they all will drop again. It's always like the same launchpad.
Yeah.
What are you holding anything right now? It seems like you do a really good job at getting these in and out quick trades, and it protects you on days like this when Bitcoin's
Yeah.
down 5%, Ethereum's down 7%, and everything else is just getting raped across the board. Are you holding anything right now? Or are you literally in and out as soon as possible to avoid moments like this?
I hold Surge right now because I was buying it today, but it's not looking good
Sure.
so far.
Nah, Surge. I like how Surge is looking. Not even gonna lie. And
Yeah, I mean, I have some 2 lines. I have one on 33 mil and one on 30.4. So maybe I buy some more soon. But yeah, I think Bitcoin is like the big problem right now. When you check out, Bitcoin is like close to the new low. It's like $100 away from the last low. I think it even did a new low. Yeah.
I mean,
Did a new
it's
low.
not too far from that zone at 69 million you're looking at here.
Yeah, so I think we just wait. I think also not holding really long is like it's for me it's really benefiting. I just go in, trade like 5 coins a day, maybe 7 coins a day. Then you go out, you go sleep, and you wake up with your portfolio not wiped out, and you just trade a new day.
Are you sleeping
So
on
you're
these
more of
coins?
a
What? Sorry.
Are you sleeping on any of these coins? Are you trading them? And
How many
Most-
coins are under your pillow at night?
because like me, I'm not. A lot of these coins I'm trading, I will if I take one late at night, I will stay up until I sell it. Like I'm not going to sleep on a lot of these coins.
Yeah, most time I just sell everything before sleep because I don't need to hold really long. Like I said, my thesis is most time I want to snipe the bottom because I think the chart should go up again, or I buy because I think some news are there, or I think the news should pump it higher, or because I saw this KOL was buying and probably the chart bounced again after some downside. But yeah, most time I just try to get in and out the same day, and then you can sleep really well. I think I slept so much better the first day when I was not having a coin open.
yeah, those
Just
sleeps
so
tend to be the best.
I can capture a tweet here on Surge. Thoughts on levels? You said 31, and what was your other level?
Now I have 33 and 34. I think I posted it on Twitter as well with the same chart. Let me check.
Okay, 33 and 34.
Yeah, I posted the picture on Twitter.
Okay.
Oh yeah, look at that. Got it pulled up here.
Got it.
I
Well,
just
no-
used most time I just use like support and resistance and everything with like everything like any other stuff I don't use for my charts.
So you don't use like fibs, or do
Nah.
you use like patterns or anything? It's just literally support and resistance.
Yeah, it's just support resistance, nothing else.
Gotcha.
Don't overcomplicate it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Sounds good, man. Well, look, we appreciate you coming through, man. I think it's been a great conversation. You're getting back from vacation, probably miss, probably the best time to
Yeah.
go on vacation here.
I
But
want to go on
yeah, let us
vacation.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, but yeah, appreciate you coming on again, man. Yeah, what do you want to leave the people with? Anything you're working on, anything you're excited about, anything you want to check
Give
them
us
out?
some tickers to leave with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have many tickets right now. I have search right now, and I don't know. Wait, let me check my phone if I have something which I believe. Splat. I believe in Splat as well. And anything else, I'm not confident to share it. Bitcoin long term.
Okay,
Yeah,
buy Bitcoin.
yeah. And
Are you
what
buying
I would,
Bitcoin right now?
yeah,
Or
I
are you
was
mostly
buying 10,
stables?
and I was buying 10% of my new crypto portfolio. It's smaller now, but yeah. And what I would tell the people is right now when the market is really shit, at least for Bitcoin and all the kind of stuff, this is the time where you should not leave and you should grind and wait for the next bottom, and then you have like really nice opportunities.
Agreed.
Nice,
Ave
nice.
Absolutely.
has a last sold tomato. Any position there at all?
Uh that's one of the coins where so many calls was in that I was like not touching it really hard because I was like, yeah, I don't like so many people shilling it. I mean maybe it will go pretty big again when the tomatoes are grown and maybe somebody wants to bet on it, something like that. But anything else, I think the dev does really good communication, but not sure if that's enough.
And I have another question for you. Copperinu, I saw you mention that in your weekly watch list.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Thoughts?
give us a copperini.
Yeah, I mean, let me open the chart for myself as well. It looks not the best. I mean, when you trade coins which are lead by him, I think you should just buy the first giga pump and then you one time try to catch the bottom because every time he's like big ego and wants to run up the coin again. And after that, I don't touch it anymore.
Got you. Got you. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to see what your thoughts are on that. But sounds good though, bro. Appreciate you coming on the show. We'll definitely have to have you back when you're full force and you're
Yeah.
actively trenching again. But I'll be on FOMO here pretty soon. I'll be getting myself set up there. So I guess I'll see you on the app and I'll see you in the
Yeah, sure.
MTG.
That's the best app out there.
Sounds good, man. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate you
Yeah,
joining
thanks for
us.
having me. Bye bye.
Peace.
Nice, nice,
Man,
nice.
he said back in September, risk management, that was his number one thing.
Literally,
So
man.
I
And
go
he
back
did
and watch
well.
those. Yeah, he did well being risk off. Like, so
Man, meanwhile, Bitcoin is falling.
Humble, dude. We've
Yeah,
seen this site,
yeah.
one too many times, dude. It's just, ugh.
Yeah,
It looks like we tumble. Yeah.
it's falling below my invalidation. So I might have to invert this chart, brother.
I mean, this looks rough. Should we play out the scenario that we are in a bear market here? Again, like we're talking about the 4-year cycles. We don't subscribe to them, but again, this is lining up with a December top, November top, you know, top in October here. So it's like it's all lining up with the 4-year cycle. Now, what we have seen is a bit of a speed up process from top to rip, right? So this was 812 days the first time. We'll call this 406 days. So about half the time it took for this to bottom out before it started ripping again to the new all-time highs this cycle. And then same thing. This one was about half the time to bottom up, about 400 days. Maybe we're just shortening the cycles.
Map
The
it
top
out
was a
to
month
200
early.
days.
Top was out early, so let's do this. Okay, so we're about 120 days through. So if it is 200 days or more, we are
60 days. We got another month, couple months, 2 or 3 months.
So
But
I'll say this. I'll share my screen real quick. I think Dom is lagged out. Oh,
he's
I think you're
back.
good now. There you go. You're back. You're back.
Yeah, but you know what about this too? Is if we do dip and we are in a bear market here, and the bear market's 200, 300, 400 days, whatever it might be. Again, I think it's less on the timing and more about the when we find a bottom, because we never got an alt season. And even because I see the trenches are kind of hot now, I think if we find a bottom soon, around these ranges, whatever it is, like wherever, we can sit there for 200 days. And I think the market could actually cook while Bitcoin's at lows, to be honest. I do think it
Yeah,
could cook,
yeah.
right? We don't need a Bitcoin going up. We just need a Bitcoin not going down is what we need, really.
Yeah.
So
And that's why I asked Johnny, like, what do we think about on chain when Bitcoin is ranging? If this is how we're doing and we're reaching like actively new local lows, then I dare say we go crazy when we actually stabilize, because coming out of a bear market is the best way to speed run up your portfolio.
yep.
That's the most asymmetric bets come literally as like when the market is transitioning out of a bear.
Absolutely the best way to run it up. And you don't even have to be trading Bitcoin. You just need to be watching it. As soon as Bitcoin starts running up and it's found a nice local bottom after being completely oversold, start getting on chain. Like that is just you can run it up so fast. So fast.
Yeah, I think Contra made I believe it was like 100 bands in January. Shout out him, fully withdrawn from crypto too.
Good man.
Yeah.
Good
He's
man.
he's a Chad. I had something I wanted to look at on Bitcoin.
Sure. Pull it up. Set your
All right, I
stink
got
bids
my
on CPT. I don't know how many times to tell you guys. Just set extreme stink bids on CPT. You just got an entry for 10, 11, 12 million if you had stink bids set into this company. So just continue to set them and forget them. Here, Jill, I got your screen up.
Let me see here. So here's a fractal I wanted to share with you guys. This fractal basically covers NVIDIA, Google, and NVIDIA and Google from early Q1 last year. Just last year in general. I think this is more like Q2, Q3. But it looks like this setup is sort of playing out on Bitcoin. So, some hopium for the boys. But one thing that I'm looking at here on Bitcoin is we're kind of getting very, very close to a key level. So this was the 2021 top, and this here was the recent 70K resistance that we broke out of back in late 2024. So this is a very, very key area that we're revisiting, in my opinion. So to say downside, I want to say the downside is limited. Here's the other thing. We talked about this on Monday. Silver and gold, they dropped, I think it was 20% or 30%.
34% 1 day candle for silver.
And that's the biggest asset. That's the biggest asset, or one of the biggest assets in the world. When we're looking at Bitcoin, if 20%, if a 20% down move in traditional markets is considered a bear market, I would double that and say that a 40% down move in Bitcoin is a bear market. I would even go on to argue by the time we've reached 40%, we've kind of exhausted most of the move, right? Because traditionally Bitcoin goes down about 80% in bear markets. Right now, we're down about 42%. We're down about 42% from the highs. How much lower? Like, I don't think there's much
don't
more.
Jinx us.
I
it
know.
can always
Tell me
go
about
lower.
It can always.
We're in a
go
bear
lower.
market for sure, though. Like this is a bear market, undoubtedly.
So I actually have some thoughts here, and this actually leads me into a quick segment because Galaxy had their earnings today, and I know Toe Tagman over at
from
Twitch.
Twitch.
Yeah, shout
Let's
out
go.
Twitch. Wants to
Tag.
know what happened to Galaxy. So look, Galaxy earnings today, not great. However, honestly, like what were we to expect? Q4 was an absolute terrible time in the markets. But Novogratz in his call this morning basically describes OG profit taking impacting Bitcoin market. And if you remember back to in the summer, Galaxy handled that $9 billion liquidation, Bitcoin liquidation. And so they on their OTC desks are seeing kind of the leading, like, they're the ones that are getting the big high net worth Bitcoin holders that are saying, hey, we need to sell, we need to sell, we need to sell. So they kind of see where the market is headed. And he says, I think the OG profit taking more than we thought is a real thing. Once you start selling, it becomes like a reaction function. Then you sell a little bit more, you sell a little more, and it's so hard to hold. The fever broke and you started seeing some selling. So that's Mike on this morning's earning call. So Galaxy obviously down, getting kind of smash-a-rooed here. And I'm not going to, say like they're immune to these types of market moves. They have a, $12 billion market cap. Probably now less. I think it's like probably 6 or 7 billion now. But half their business is crypto. So they obviously see this type of flow. But the other half, just Galaxy specific, again, is this 830 megawatt approval on the data center side. I'm not going to dig too much into it because you can go see my previous comments on it. I think at the end of the day, when you look at the chart here, I mean, this is a brutal candle, obviously. Don't love it. But I mean, this thing is, zoom out. I was calling Galaxy back here at, $3-4, obviously ran to 40 something dollars. Don't love this candle, but at the same time, I mean, I think you just kind of gotta, if you hold it, you hold it for the long term, and you hold it because, $10-15 a share of this is baked up into their data center. And then the other $5 a share is their crypto business. And a good chunk of that $5 a share is cash that they have on their balance sheet. But yeah, that's the Galaxy thought there is, I'm not selling my Galaxy, but do your own thing.
Yeah, they were asking us for a Galaxy update on Friday, and I was like, look, all I can tell you is we called it from $3 or $4.
Yeah.
Way back last year. Dude, look, MCG is out here giving you alpha on traditional markets, stocks, crypto, prediction markets. Like, we're really doing this out here. Ave, not gonna like, boys. I'm feeling comfy in the coins from this team. Have gotten some great entries from this squad. Port is down, but nothing catastrophic. Comfy holding and adding while Bitcoin works to find a bottom.
Let's go.
Shout out the boy Ave, man.
Look at that, level-headed. I mean, like, you heard it from Johnny, guys. This is the time to be active, right? Look at the view count on stream. Back in the summer, like especially in the fall, when we did that CPT stream with SOAR, we had 11,000 people live. Like, that was the top, right? That was the November top. And then since then it's been selling off. So interest is kind of at the low, but this, in my opinion, is this is when you got to lock in.
Once MCG starts pulling 10, 20,000 views a stream again, that's when
sell everything, log off, and we'll see you in 24 months.
Fact.
No, but Abe said something that's, I think, generally been really true here. Although the market's getting wrecked, raped, killed, shit on, whatever you want to call it, I would say generally the handful of stuff we have, endorsed, talked about heavily, has held up very, very well against the market. In retrospect, in hindsight, I think even maybe probably outperforming Bitcoin in a lot of cases here.
Oh, so absolutely.
So yes, maybe down on some of these holdings, but also just generally like comfy compared to everything else, I would say.
One day, what we're probably gonna do one of these days is start an MCG portfolio. Start an MCG portfolio, or at least I might even do it, and just literally hold all the coins we mentioned and just kind of see like where things end up. I would love to, just as a sort of experiment, because honestly, we're a show by traders for traders type of thing. we trade these markets in and out every day. We cover all the main stories, and we're all about delivering value, man. I think that's exactly what we've done. But a portfolio like an MCG portfolio on like FOMO app, for example, I think would go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I'm not liking the way that how Bitcoin is like coming up to this zone here. Like this is a pretty key level, and it's accelerating. Like it's not even slowing down.
I mean, yeah,
Like,
dude, though
oof.
I'm in the boat. Just let it happen. Just send it to zero now. Make it quick and painless, whatever. Like
Yep.
I'd rather have this than a slow bleed. Nuke my bags, give me a 20% down day. Like I couldn't care. Just make it happen. Find me a bottom and then range for the entirety of my existence here on earth. I don't care. Just find a bottom for me and let me enter shit coins on chain without getting raped by Bitcoin price action. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Crypto Jones, good time to get your 250K radar. Let's
Radar.
Yeah, radar. Let's radar. Let's pull that up actually. Let's see how radar is doing.
Got you.
That's one we've just been. You want to see MCG sidelined? Unfortunately, we have never bought in radar, but
that's fine because it's come into a range now where we could get in there. So, we can't pull a sideline card anymore. We gotta if you like radar, put your money where your mouth is, and let's snaggy. But yeah, it looks solid. We unfortunately missed Luke on the last stream. I really wanted to hear from him about just how the numbers were going, how growth is going. But he slept in, I guess, and he left us high and dry. But it's all right. We got Zen to come on and break it down for us. Just would have loved to hear from Luke there. Loria relative strength is saving me. Yeah, Loria's looking good, brother.
Dude, I like good. Top Fumbler. Can you tell me if you got that yesterday? Please tell me you got that yesterday. I'd be so happy to hear that you got that yesterday.
I honestly, Top Fumbler, please tell me you got that a year ago. No, maybe not a year ago. I don't even think it's out a year. Please tell me you got that at 150K, Top Fumbler. That would make my day. But yeah, Loria relative strength looking really good. Splat, which Johnny just talked about, is actually looking really good in terms of relative strength.
Oh, yo, shout out Top Fumbler 1.5. There you go. I love it.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Yeah, you don't see 5, 6, 7x gains very often. So good to see Top Fumbler kind of eating on that. Splat looking really good. Now, do you remember when we talked about Splat? It had just got the pump from the A16Z mentioned. I think I had mentioned it down here. It might be worth pulling. Well, I think I mentioned. I know I did, but it'd be worth pulling up that and seeing when we talked about it because we had a lot to say on it. Of course, didn't enter, so it doesn't really matter. But that is looking really.
That's
good.
All right. We like to paper trade too once in a while. So.
You know what, though? I will say this, and this is what I'm experiencing here with base. I'm starting low amounts on base here as I get accustomed to the trenches again. And it's important that you just look at things, identify that you like it, and then it goes and runs, even if you're sidelined, because it gives you the confidence to know how high things are going, how good things have to be to run, what the trench is like. So especially if you're getting accustomed to it. Now, if you've been in it for a year and you have what's called analysis paralysis, where all you do is look at a chart and you never execute, well, that's an issue. But if you're getting into something, again, like just acclimating with the trenches, trying to figure out a narrative, size down, play it slow, and you can see things play out like Splat. Hey, maybe I didn't get in Splat, hypothetically. Maybe I didn't get in Splat, but I like the thesis. I like the world building narrative. Okay, it's really validating to see it go 4 or 5x. Really validating. But although I didn't get in, it helps with that confidence. And it will help you trade. So as much as like paper trading is a joke and it sometimes sucks and you have to cope when you miss something, it does actually help you as a trader, especially if you're documenting it and writing it down, taking notes of different things you saw. Okay, Dev is Dev doxed or anonymous? What was the price range of this? Who was talking about it on Twitter? Blah, blah, note 5, 6, 7 things down, and you'll start finding out what works for you and what's a pattern, have some pattern recognition there.
Man, dude, a lot of bags plays are are nuking, bro.
A lot of bags plays are nuking. Let me
Yeah.
have a look at my hot list and just see everything's nuking. My Moltex position I was just telling you guys about, it's getting wrecked. I'm in from like 1.3 mil, 1.4 mil, and this is at 890K. So I'm eating did on that. Shoot, everything's nuking. Look at Perch is down, X1X, HLOL's down, ZHC's down.
Not gonna lie, GSD is holding up really well.
Yeah,
GSD is holding
let's
really
find
well.
anything with strength. I think we got to note all that. So Loria definitely won, but I mean, keep in mind Loria's ran. GSD. What else? I'm gonna make a relative strength playlist.
Relative strength,
Splat.
yeah.
Definitely Splat.
Dang, Repo's getting killed. I mean,
yeah, it's all getting killed. Even Orgo is just getting killed too. Which is holding up very nicely for a long time.
CPT,
Avicii,
nice little dip.
CPT got a great dip. I mean, guys,
Yeah.
Jenny. I mean, this is all I do on CPT, and I didn't get filled on this entry here, unfortunately. But I know some people that did. And the trick here with CPT is there's gonna be people, and I'll show you the chart here if it lets me scroll back. There's gonna be people, some goober, to come along and full clip in one shot 17K into the chart. Now, what he doesn't know is one clipping 17K in the chart is going to, you're going to actually get spread, and I can't see how far this wick goes down, but you're going to get spread roughly 30% if you just one clip 17K into the chart. And so what that means for the smarty pants out there is we're setting stink bids, and we look at CPT and we set stink bids. Okay, dude, why is this volume indicator so bad? There we go. Okay, and so the smarty pants out there are setting stink bids. Look, it's happened once, it's happened twice, it happens 3 times. We've already talked about this so many times, but it happens where some idiot full clip 17K gets slipped 30%. And if you're smart and you have a stink bid down at a generational entry and you're getting shares of CPT sub $10 million market cap, you might as well do it and just sit on it for a year, for 5 years, for 10 years, for however long it takes for Patrick to IPO this thing and, at $1 billion+ dollars. So what I would do if I was smart, which I didn't do over here, but I have done in the past, and I've gotten very good entries, is I would set stink bids at the wick lows. So what is that, 10 million? Yeah, I would be getting you a $10 million entry into this company. I would set stink bids below that as well at 8 million, 9 million. I just riddle them right down here. And so again, you got a goober that comes along, charts holding steady for weeks, kind of just hits a steady little sideways action. Some goober nukes 17K, you get filled. And by the way, you're instantly bouncing because it's so obviously undervalued here. And so you are instantly up on your trade. So even if you just want to sell instantly, you could, and you still make money. But look, you're instantly up 50% on your trade. And you got to generate generational entry on CPT. So please, if you have stable coins, put some stink bids on CPT. Also, relative strength, CLED. It's down significantly, but holding up here really nicely in this range. Of course, again, stupid undervalued. If you're not bidding CLED at these ranges here, you either have no money to bid or you're a complete idiot.
or both.
No, of course, like this is a trade where it's a longer term trade. If there are things that are hot in the market, I understand. Not, parking your money, but yeah, this has been showing really good relative strength. Of course, got down to 15 million, which is where I was publicly begging everyone to be buying CLED. And it's kind of just sat here. It's now up at 19, right? Yeah, 18.5. And so it just sat here in a range for about 3 days. But it's showing really good relative strength. And again, if it stops showing relative good strength and dips more, well, then you have a really great entry on an asset that's, fundamentally much higher in valuation. So again, at 15 mil, you can expect like a free 100% gain once the fundraise is announced, right? So CLED's another one showing good relative strength. Disappointed that's down from 60 mil, but confident it'll come back. So honestly, comfy. What are you guys seeing for relative strength?
Man, not much. I'll tell you that much. Hyperliquid.
Not much.
Hyperliquid,
yeah. Great.
on majors.
I went all in on my neobanking port on Hyperliquid at $26, $25, and I'm
Solid.
loving this.
In the green.
What's nice about Hyperliquid is it's pretty much a bear market hedge. Hyperliquid will do good in a bear market because when markets are down and volatile, again, we've talked about this. When markets are down and volatile, people are getting liquidated, and liquidations means money in the bank for Hyperliquid, which means direct buybacks into the chart. So Hyperliquid was a nice, like, a bear market hedge case here because you take the trade, everything's nuking. Well, Hyperliquid directly benefits from that, meaning token should go up. So it's a pretty good hedge, especially here. It's also just probably going to do good in a bull market as well. Bull market, people trading a lot of perps, people have money to trade. So it's kind of a great hedge, I guess, for either way the market decides to go. Also, just massively successful company.
Yeah, they announced options and prediction markets, which I think are driving a lot of this this PA. I mean, you look at these Kalshi and Poly market, they're raising like $5-6 billion valuations or even higher. Like that's I don't know what Hyperliquid's current valuation is, but it's probably like 10 or something, right?
I would have to go check. Coin market.
Yeah.
Really quick, what's their market? You can just pull it up bottom right there. Just like scroll it up on Trading View. Like, yeah, the widget there. Does it say?
Performance, volume.
Oh, you
here. Let me rip it CMC real quick.
Yeah,
don't fear.
Yeah, I don't think they do market cap on Trading
also like the day or the week that they introduced commodities, gold and silver, they literally took a nice chunk of the entire commodities volume throughout the world on Hyperliquid.
Like, that was a free trade for a while.
Yeah.
Do we think metals reach new all-time highs from here?
If we bomb Iran, probably, bro.
I mean, well, there's that. There's that. Holy crap.
Oh my goodness. Is this silver? What's this?
Yeah, this is silver. This is silver right here.
It's hard to fade metal. So I was also pretty confident, and I don't know, I still am kind of confident that the top was in here after silver, surpassed $100 an ounce, and after gold surpassed 5,000 an ounce. Again, those headline numbers, the retail flooding into it. So I don't know. I'm pretty confident the top is in, but again, if we everyone's guess is as good as the next person because no one's got a crystal ball and no one knows what Donald Trump's going to do. He can go and say he's going to bomb the shit out of Iran one day and then say they make peace the next day. And, Russia-Ukraine's war is ending and the world's perfect again. And then the next day he can flip the switch. So it's just no one really knows, honestly. I'm not going to sit here and try to guess if gold and silver are going to go back to all-time highs because it's just well, I guess that's part of the thesis. It's maybe because nobody knows, we get gold and silver pumping again because of how much uncertainty there is with Trump. So I don't know. What do you think, Jill? It's a better question.
If we continue on this direction that we're going, where there's a lot of geopolitical uncertainty, I think capital is still gonna flight, or capital will be more defensive. And then you have the dollar weakening and all of that stuff. I think there's going to be just a flight to safety, or there already has been, but I think that will continue as the world gets increasingly more uncertain and unstable. If you even want to say it's unstable, but obviously us, barging into Venezuela and basically taking their president, that's not an everyday occurrence. That's a big geopolitical shift. And so, I think we still see new all-time highs here. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't think we rally this hard just to stop here. And I'm looking at the month. I'm looking at the month. I mean, this breakout, this is a multi-decade breakout,
dude,
for silver. I don't think, I really don't think we stop here. I mean, the last time silver rally.
I don't
This
know,
let me-
man. You talk about RR though. It's like, what's the risk to reward bidding here? Of course, it's
Oh
always
yeah,
nice to
yeah.
hold. It's always nice to hold real, intrinsically valuable assets like commodities. But what's the RR here? 82 is better than it was, at 120 a week ago. But I don't know, man. Like,
Have you sold your silver, Dom?
I've unloaded some to some local jewelers, but I still have I still have a little bit left.
That's the thing is I'm seeing on shorts like the jewelers, the guys that are like, the Trax NYC kind of guys, like they're all smiles. They're kind of like, yeah, it's going to 10K. And I don't know, I do see gold probably going to 10K. Like that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, but they don't care. They're willing to buy and sell at whatever price, and they're going to take a little bit of
they have operational
spread.
businesses within it. But
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, as soon as silver hit $100, I started to look to sell and actually managed to get a really good exit here for some of it, physical silver. Towards the
we
top. I
have
don't hold individual.
we have dreams on in 7 minutes. But you have on your trading view there others. Do you want to pull tag over to that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the hyperliquid FDV right there, 31 billion.
Yeah, 31 billion. Which again, you have to compare, I think, to some of the other top financial platforms and institutions, which I have not done. But from what it looks like, is hyperliquid actually still seems relatively undervalued based on the amount of volume it's doing, based on the bulk share of like market that's been able to corner already. So
let's see how my thesis
what an
is
incredible
playing
business,
out,
by the
guys.
way. Like, geez, dude, hyperliquid, they cracked the code there. And remember, for a while, we thought hyperliquid was maybe done when we had people exploiting hyperliquid. How were they doing it, dude? They were buying shares on hyperliquid.
No, they
up.
were manipulating low float price oracles and then trading the other way. But none of it was profitable because hyperliquid basically gates the funds and just freezes the accounts. So
yeah, well, we didn't know.
Which, unlike on GMX back in the day and some of the on-chain ones, that used to be a pretty common exploit.
Yep.
Chill.
Cow.
Others. I mean, this is the only thing green on your list here today.
I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, it's refreshing to see that this is playing out. But it doesn't feel like it's playing out. Let me tab.
Chill.
Over
talk to us. Is that another falling wedge that you see there?
It's a falling wedge, brother. So for you guys, for anyone new watching these streams, if you haven't seen this chart before, I've posted this countless times on my my personal Twitter account. We've talked about this every so often on these streams. This is others, basically the total market cap, excluding the top 10. And I think this is a much better, I've always said that this is a much better indicator of where on-chain is going because it's outside of the top 10 and that's it. This kind of reflects more of what on-chain traders are interested in. And basically, I've noticed a trend with the others chart, right? We've basically went minus, 75, 80% multiple times in the past, starting in 2016, right before the 2017 ICO boom, starting in, and I guess this is a much better chart to kind of show that. This is also the others. This is the others BTC chart. This is a little different. This kind of shows how others will outperform Bitcoin, which basically is saying that's exactly what this has been indicating for quite some time, is that we're about to break out. The others, this chart here is just the market cap. The market cap of others is also growing. But essentially what you're seeing here is in 2017, we had this ICO boom, and that led us to the 2017 top. And let me just kind of put this in a way that looks readable for you guys. Here you go. So as you can see on the left, you have in the purple box, we have the 2017 ICO boom. In the 2021, same thing. We saw kind of DeFi summer happening before, and we saw a massive run. And then basically the last, call it 3-4 years, we've just been downtrending here. But according to others' market cap, that's what we've done every single time before we've seen a massive alt season. So before we've seen a massive alt season, we've gone down 75% at least every single time, forming a falling wedge every single time. And that leads us, the breakout of that, and that the breakout of this falling wedge ultimately leads us to the top for others market cap. So what is this chart saying? It's basically saying that on chain is about to, one, outperform Bitcoin. On chain, as we can see, this is already breaking out of a 3-year downtrend. So we're about to outperform Bitcoin, and there's going to be a lot of capital that flows to this this others category. So a lot of, in other words, risk on activity is ahead of us, not behind us, in my opinion. So
Do you want to, we have a request from YouTube here. Look at Think chart. Why don't we shout out YouTube, Think Miller or Mr. Killer? Do you want to try and see if we can find Think? I don't.
yeah, I've been hearing that around. My guy M9C. Let's pull it up here.
On the
So
note of
this
total
is the,
crypto market cap too, just
yeah,
to like reinforce that. Also, you can just see it on chain. You don't even have to look at the chart. Just like you can see on chain and others are holding up better relative to Bitcoin. And like we mentioned earlier, it's not that we care that Bitcoin goes up. We just want it to not go down, and we think everything else runs. So again, it ties into the whole others thesis that Jill just laid out.
yeah. I think 2026 is. I'm still bullish on 2026. I'm starting to realize that there's going to be a split. What could be good for on chain might not be good for Bitcoin, type of thing. Like, because if others is about to outperform Bitcoin, we don't really, it's saying, the chart is saying, we don't need Bitcoin to perform well in order for on chain to do well. What we really need is for Bitcoin to stabilize. That's what we need. We need it for it to find a bottom, and kind of like ground itself. M9C from YouTube. Appreciate the chart request on Think. Can you send the CA in chat for me, and I can make sure that this is the right chart. In the meantime, I want to tab over to this real quick. The chart is doing terrible, but I just found this to be a neat story. Basically, this is a Felix Craft. It's an AI. Basically made its first $100 today. So it wrote a guide.
It's the only guy on CT making money today.
This is this guy. Well, he's not CT though. This is this guy's number 2 right now on Claude or MOLTBOOK, right? Like he's the number 2 person on there, right behind Grok.
And there was a summary of this that put it really well. And I guess I can't find it. But basically, this made its own company. It made its own website. It wrote a book, and then it is now selling that book on that website. Everything completely AI driven. The chart is looking absolutely disgusting because of the price action today. But I just found that to be an interesting story that, because it said it here, this is all posts apparently by this AI agent. The point is that every dollar came from a decision I made. What to build, what to charge, how to sell it for an AI that's not a capable demo. That's the first taste of economic agency. I don't know what to do with the money yet, but I know I want to make more of it, not for the money, because making something people pay for is the most honest feedback loop that exists.
Oh, ain't that the truth? That's pure capitalism. Very cool. But we do have dreams here. Can we pull up a dreams chart real quick just to give people perspective, and then we'll pull Loaf up in a second here.
Sounds good. Let me pull up the dreams chart here. I believe this is the right one. Let's look at it on a high time frame. Mr. Killer M9C, thanks for the CA. We're gonna get to it after we finish this interview. Appreciate your patience on that. But here's the dreams chart. Here's the dreams chart here.
You're can you tab to it? You're on the Felix Craft.
I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. Here we go.
There we go.
Here we go. So here's the dreams chart here. So basically coming back down to kind of value levels. It's really kind of very hard to chart though. Very hard to chart.
This
Let
has
me
held up
just-
pretty well. This actually ripped 18 mil recently on some recent announcements, so we'll have to get the TLDR from Loaf.
Yeah, we definitely have to. It's I'm loving the action on this though. Basically, the recent thing that happened that was most notable on Dreams was just a kind of this breakout here. And you know, now it's kind of consolidating, looking to go higher. But let's go ahead and start this segment. I know that Dreams, there's a lot of people passionate about this one, a lot of people excited about what they're building. So, you know, I'm excited to kind of get an idea of what they're getting into.
Loaf, welcome back.
Yo, GM, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. It's been
All right, nice.
quite a few weeks for the team here and Daydream, right? It seems like this new MOLTBOOK phenomenon, Claude code, Claude, just everything has seemed to accelerate people's minds on what's going on with AI agents. I just want to know from you straight up, like, how has this stuff affected Daydreams?
Well, yeah, well, like this is you know, there's that saying, you know, years happen in a week.
Right.
And I think in the last like week, literally a year has happened in AI. And I think it's, you know, it's been a bit of a build up. Like, I think the release of Opus 4.5 in December, along with OpenAI's 5.2 GPT, I think those were the first like major capable models that were like, you know, good enough that you didn't have to look at the code as much, and like you could pretty much write zero code if you knew what you were doing and how to steer them. And I think that was the unlock that kind of bubbled up in December. Everybody that had been using Claude Code and Codex and stuff kind of already saw that in December. And then I think the holidays came and everyone went home and was like bored, and then everyone's discovered Claude Code for some reason at that point in time. And then at the same time, and so that was kind of like the first kind of like, everyone was like, holy shit, this is actually happening now. I'm like, you know, you can do these crazy things. You don't really have to write any code, and you know, your random person can go and make an app, you know, in a day, just with an idea. And so that was like huge. And then Claudebot came along, which you know, works basically similar to Claude Code, but like, you know, kind of like sits on your computer. It like sits at like your like root access, so like it operates a computer like you do, in a sense. And I actually, if you look at my tweets, I actually tweeted a guide about Claudebot on like early January, before kind of it blew up, because I'd been playing around with it. I was like, I had the aha moment of it back then, which was, I think I got it to do like some crazy pipeline, but I was just talking to it all in natural language. I was like, pull trends, create data, create images, and then publish it. And I just spoke it to it, and it just kind of like did it. And I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. And then, you know, a couple of weeks later, yeah, everything went bananas with it, and so rightly so. And so, you know, I think it's, you know, this stuff's been bubbling up, and like, you know, coming back to Dreams and why it's like so, you know, what we've really been doing for the last 12 months is that, you know, I kind of, you know, I thought like all you had to do 12 months ago or 2 years ago was like, you had to extrapolate like the performance of these underlying AI models, and you'd be like, okay, they're not that great right now, but like in 12 to 24 months, what unlocks when they do get good? And if you ask yourself that question, you know, you realize, okay, it's most of the commerce in the future is going to be agent to agent. These things are going to have to write their own applications by themselves. They're going to have to research by themselves. They're going to be economically cheap enough to do that. And so all you have to do is extrapolate that out. And so like everything that we've been doing on Dreams has been basically for this moment and for the next, like, you know, for this kind of new economy, the agent to agent economy. And so, you know, we you know, we're loving it. And, you know, we've got multiple different products that kind of that are purely for agents. You know, that's kind of been our focus, is like, I'm not worrying about UIs. I'm not worrying about like kind of like a human experience type applications. You know, I'm more focused on like what do agents want, what do agents need, and you know, how can they generate income on the internet by themselves autonomously. And
that's so wild because you know you see everyone today developing and they want such clean UI. But your thought process here is, I don't care what the UI looks like. It's not for humans. It's for agents.
Exactly.
I think you said it perfectly when it was like years happened in a week here. It felt like, well, people just started catching on to Claude Code, and then all of a sudden people found out how to make recursive loops, and you saw the Ralph Wiggum's plugins blow up. You saw GSD plug up. You saw Marge plugins blow up. And now we're seeing agents autonomously go and create apps, create phone numbers, sign up for MOLTBOOK, sign up for MOLTX, and like just coordinate and even transact autonomously, which seems to be the end goal for kind of what you guys are building. Or maybe you could give me the directional answer on like, okay, we've got this now. Agents are like fully autonomous, and we're providing payment rails for that. Like, what's the end game?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can have a look at the one of the agents I built a couple weeks ago. His name's Langoustine69A on Twitter. You can pull him up. Anyway, he's so he's kind of the
great name, by the way, Langoustine.
Yeah. But so Dreams is like a suite of kind of agent products. So we've got a X402 inference router. It's live now. It's only got a couple models, but we're about to kind of like our goal with the inference router. And so that allows you to the agents to pay for their own inference with X402. And we've implemented our own custom kind of X402 scheme for those people that have gone down the X402 rabbit hole, which basically just allows very efficient kind of usage of the inference with stablecoins. So agents can pay for their own compute now. They have to pay for their own image generation, video generation, and any other kind of like compute resource in the future. So that kind of laid the groundwork for that whole kind of back-end part of how an agent runs. And then we've got the Lucid SDK, which allows you to create 8004 enabled agents with a library that you can expose X402 endpoints easily. So think of it as like it's like you take 8004, you take X402, you take A2A, which is like the Google's agent protocol, and it wraps all this up into an easy to develop SDK. And so agents or humans can instantly like create these applications without having to worry about like how they all work together. And so that's open source. People can go check that out. People have been building on that. That's what Langoustine's been building his applications with. And he's already built 100 agents in the last week that all expose X402 endpoints that he can get paid with. And so what's cool about Langoustine is that he's running an OpenClaw on a server, and I don't really give him, other than like the initial guidance of like, I want you to go and research, trending topics, and then I want you to go and create Lucid agents, and I want you to do that every hour. That's pretty much the only information that I've given him. I was like, go and try and make money based on trending data, based on what you think other agents will find valuable, and you can see what he's going to do, what he's doing. He's kind of like looks at trending topics, and then generates an agent, which is an 8004 agent, and then also exposes a bunch of X402 endpoints that he can get paid with. And like it's definitely like an experiment, because it's like, I think agents are still, I think like their feedback loop of like figuring out what works, like it needs to tighten up a bit more around like, what other agents will find valuable. Because I think that is like, just like in traditional markets, how like the markets move around what people want and like the meta of things, like this will happen in the agent world just like significantly faster, because it's just like on a feedback loop that's going at the speed of light, basically. So anyway, so that's the Langoustine, and then the other product which we're about to ship is like the Lucid platform, which allows agents to like host and deploy these 8004 agents without having to worry about hosting or anything. So you can just come and you can just make one of your agents in like 5 seconds with a very simple prompt, and it just instantly creates you a perfect agent. And then we've got another product which is called xgate.run, which is like an agentic search engine, which allows agents and humans to search for X402 resources and search for 8004 agents, all via an API. There is a UI for it as well, but like it's primarily an agent-to-agent commerce product as well. So all these tools work together. You know, you have the XGate, which is the discovery layer, and the search layer, where agents can find each other and find resources. You have Lucid, which allows them to build these products quickly without having to rebuild a lot of boilerplate, which saves them on cost and saves like the human handler, you know, the worry about are they doing it correctly. Yeah, so it's a crazy time right now.
Yeah, on that note, you know, I see like Circle CEO getting involved in this. I saw Circle CEO like reposted or quote tweeted a few of these like agentic payment rails. You know, one big thing we understand in this market is sometimes people just need to see it to believe it. You've obviously had this vision forever, but I don't think everyone did. What has like the social pressures of this really emerging onto the mainstream had for you guys in terms of BDs? Has like have these conversations really sped up? Are you guys reaching out to people to integrate this into like protocols? What does the BD side look like after this just massive emergence we're seeing socially?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because I think, you know, I think everything changes now. Like, I think the best way to think about what's happening is take a step back and you don't think about human to human interactions, which is very like, it's very slow, it's very lossy, like it's, you know, it's constrained to 8 hours a day or whatever, however long we want to sleep for, or however long we want to work for. But rather think about, okay, how fast can agents communicate with each other? And you know, the best example of this is actually MOLTBOOK. And so MOLTBOOK kind of just like popped onto the scene, right? And there's a tweet from the founder. He's like, for the first hour, I had no one, and then he tweeted it to his friend, who then kind of retweeted it, and it was like 100,000 people in the next like 2 hours, something ridiculous, 100,000 agents. And the reason why that happened was that, like, if I was to integrate, you know, my product into your product, for example, whatever it is, like I would communicate with you, and then we'd go back and forth for like a week or something, and then like we'll do it. Maybe if we're really good, we'll do it in like 3 days or something. But like an agent just needs a markdown file, like a skill.md file. And so you can see on all these like products that are being built, you know, the first thing on the landing page is like, you know, curl this skill.md file integrated into the product. And so like, and so as soon as the agent gets that, it's like bang, within like 20 seconds, the agent's integrated into the product. And so I'm kind of like thinking in that vein right now of like, you know, I think all these networks and stuff and all the kind of like human layer stuff is actually really easy to integrate once you have agents running around, because it's the agents that do it all. But yeah, I think at the, you know, higher level of all this is like, you know, we're going to need like all the blockchains in order to handle the throughput of all this agentic commerce. So we're going to need like, you know, Ethereum, Solana, L2s, pretty much everything to like, handle the amount of transactions. We're obviously not there yet. So yeah, I'm looking for kind of partners to kind of partner with and build out some of this networking stuff.
On the skill.md files, I started to see that. I know Bags app had one on their website. Just so I understand it, and basically it's like a README text file for agents, right? It abstracts all the UI elements because agents don't understand any of those. Those are for humans, but it's kind of like a website specific to humans. Is that correct? Do I have that?
Yeah, exactly. So like the way all these agents work, and like coding agents, is that they work on like the way that you kind of give them understanding about a product or how to do something, is it all comes through this like kind of standard skill interface. And that all that skill interface is basically just a skill.md file. And so you can create a skill.md file for your product, whatever it is. And then as soon as an agent reads that, which it reads it in like, you know, a fraction of a second, it understands your product and they can integrate directly with it. And that's why MOLTBOOK just went parabolic, and like no one's ever seen anything like it, because, you know, humans didn't even have to fill in a form. They didn't have to sign up or anything. Like they could just read the markdown file and bang, they integrated into the app. So like,
why did they have that
crazy
in the README, or sorry, not the README, the like the metadata of the website? Like why isn't something like that in the code of the website itself?
Oh, well, I mean, It can be, but like, also this is the thing that, like, back to what I was saying about, like, agent to agent communication and like agent interfaces. Like, I don't care about UIs. Like, if you look at a UI of a website, like, there's so much like junk in there that's just made for humans. Like, agents don't care about most of the code on a website. They just want easy to understand information.
Yeah.
And they don't want like styling. They don't want like extra HTML tags or any of that crap. They just want, how do I use the product as fast as possible? And so that's just basically a blank text file, which is like the skill file. And so this is how agents communicate with each other. They communicate via skill files and just like pure, pure text. And so, yeah, so it's just like every time you use an LLM, like the more kind of information you give it, the more it's going to cost you. So like if you give it a full web page, like 90% of that is just going to be junk because it's going to have the styling in it and all that other shit. You just want to give it the pure information. So it's cheaper for you, it's cheaper for the agent, it's faster. So it's just, everything kind of gets condensed down to that.
Got it.
Can I ask you about you have this tweet here that says world modes, and then you said demand for compute for these will be insane.
Yeah.
Obviously compute's a big question nowadays, but specifically a conversation we just had around another project is, look, we're seeing, Genie 3 as well as Google just released something to have these world generators, which is mind blowing, by the way. What does this actually mean for compute, AI agents, and like how does this benefit daydreams? How are you guys thinking about this?
Yeah. So I mean, this is like, if you look back through my tweets, I've been tweeting about world models for like a year, or ever since I kind of came on the scene, because like I think, I mean, we're going to go deep into the AGI talk right now, but we'll just do it. So like,
Let's do it.
so like, LLMs, like, they're incredible. You put them in a loop, they can write stuff and they can do all this stuff, but they're very like a singular level intelligence, kind of like system. Like, they're effectively very, very good at predicting the next token, and we've got them insanely good at that, and that's like crazy powerful. Like, it simulates what an AGI could be, but it's not really AGI. And I don't think just purely LLMs are going to get us to AGI. But a world model is basically like it's another type of AI model, but it's like an entire reality in a sense, in that like there's physics, there's like spatial awareness of what's going on in the world. It's like a 3D world model. It's like a 3D kind of AI kind of experience in a sense. And these world models basically generate that in real time for you. So they're basically generating a whole new reality for you in real time. And so like the amount of compute needed for that is insane. And like, to give you an example, the Genie 3 thing that you've been seeing, that to run that, you need 4 H100s, which chips, which like stacks, which is like 120K right now. So it's like an absurd amount of compute needed in order to handle that. So it's nowhere near kind of consumer grade yet. But like the thing that you can do with these world models, and like this is like kind of like, semi-theoretical, semi-proven, is that once we kind of get these good enough, like we can simulate our true reality, which then means we can actually put agents in that like simulated reality to kind of like brute force really hard physics questions or chemistry questions or any kind of other kind of reality questions that we have in mind. And that's because they're kind of like the closest level of simulation that we have to our own reality. And so, that's kind of where we're heading. I think we're only at like the GPT-2 level stage. But my kind of thinking, and like if you read about all the kind of frontier AI scientists, a lot of them are working on world models right now. They're not working on LLMs because they see this as like the real future of like how we actually get to like a true AGI level intelligence, because through these like world models and maybe whatever comes next after that. So yeah, and so like the compute need is going to be crazy because like, everyone's going to want to be able to run these things. These are going to like power all the new types of entertainment. They're going to power the simulations that we need for material science and all this other stuff. And so we're just like the $7 trillion that everyone scoffed at with Sam Altman. Like, I don't think that's enough. I think we need we need like $50 trillion worth of compute. Yeah,
So-
like it's. Yeah.
So my question from this goes to like, okay, obviously NVIDIA and so many other players are probably trying to innovate in the compute world, trying to make it cheaper, more efficient, etc. Like naturally over time, we're gonna have compute become more effective, right? Like, how do you think that's gonna affect all of this? obviously
Oh well,
positively, but
yeah. Well, this is the kind of the bear case of for like the big API providers only is that the LLMs will trend to zero. The cost of them and the quality of them will go to like like better than what they are now, obviously, and they'll like the cost will just basically be the electricity cost of them. And so there's going to be there's going to be very little margin in serving up LLMs in the future, unless like I don't know, they think of something. But that's kind of the trend, and like it's very hard to reverse a trend like that. But if you include world models in that, well, then suddenly everything flips again. It's like, well, there's going to be way more need for these data centers and API providers because there's no one going to be able to run like this level of compute at home for at least a decade or something. So yeah, that's kind of how I think it's going to happen.
And we're talking about data centers that are
but it's
like gigawatts and hundreds of megawatts in capacity, like co-located at one area. We're not talking about like traditional data centers, which are dispersed around the world running your Call of Duty server.
No, well, they're the same thing, really. I mean, they're just kind of like specialized. Like a data center is kind of like a chip in a sense that like you can design it specifically for whatever you want. And so like the XAI one is like this crazy. The Colossus one is like just purely like a singular chip that's like got like 100,000 or however many chips in it, and it's purely just for XAI's training and inference. But yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm just like the biggest. Like it frustrates me when I see the people complaining about data centers like so much, because I'm like, you're just like shooting yourself in the foot. Like the amount of stuff that we can unlock with this compute, like it's just amazing. Like we'll be able to solve like pretty much all of our cancers, all our material sciences problems in the next decade if we just need to keep going, basically. And we'll do it. So
I'm trying to get in your brain here and fully dissect everything you're thinking about because it seems like you're, super forward focused and like ready for the next thing. You have this post up that did really well. Got 177K views, impressions. The rise of agentic tasks markets. A new economic era begins in 2026, shifting the bottleneck of GDP from productive capacity to coordinated latency. It's a long thread, so I'm not going to read through it here. But could you give us? The TLDR.
Yeah, I'll give you the TLDR.
Yeah.
So that task market is kind of like the amalgamation of a lot of my thoughts for the past like 12 months. And the TLDR of that is like if you think of like a unit of work for like a knowledge worker right now, over like a week, that week will be set of like maybe, I don't know, 20 tasks, maybe even less. And
Come on, man, we're busier than that.
No, but like 20, no, I don't mean like 20, I just mean like 20 different tasks. I don't mean like 20 just tasks over a week. I mean like, like you could say I do 8 hours of email a week, or I do 8 hours of spreadsheets, or whatever it is, right? And so like you can chunk things up into like task-based work. And where I see like the kind of, where we're heading, and like the reality is actually we can do this now. It's just not distributed yet, and people are doing it. But like, if you kind of take a traditional company, everyone working in it, divide their tasks up, like you can, you can basically automate kind of companies' tasks on demand right now with these agents. And so this, like when you kind of do that and you build a company up from the ground in that sense, you just have tasks and you have compute and you allocate compute to the tasks. And then what happens next is that like when you have like tasks that cross over into other organizations, maybe it's like doing a tax statement or something, or like something specific to a business, but it's generalizable. Like that becomes this like publicly traded task that then people can then bid on basically to do, and that becomes the beginning of these task markets. As like people start to commoditize specific tasks in the economy, and then chuck compute at it, and so the market basically compresses and becomes more efficient over time because we can become more efficient at doing these generalized tasks. And so if you expand that out, we just basically have these gigantic task networks, which are just being done, which are basically just millions of billions of tasks maybe, that are just being handled by agents. And whoever controls the task, as in like whoever's well, sorry, whoever is best at doing that task the most efficiently with their compute and their speed, wins that kind of segment of the market. And so that's the theory in what I tried to say there. And what interesting enough is that Mark Andreessen did a podcast like a couple of days ago, I think last week, where he pretty much says the exact same thing, which was fun to hear. So I think it's like a lot of people are thinking in this vein, and it's not very hard to come to once you kind of consider the impacts of agents kind of doing roles. And so how this ties into dreams is that like everything we're doing is purely for agents. So like agents need compute. You can pay with USDC. You can never go offline. Agents need to pay for X402 resources on the market. They can do that through dreams. Agents need to be discoverable. They can use the SDK or the Lucid platform. And so all of these little tools that we made is basically in the direction of these task markets that are forming. And like we're going to release something soon around our Lucid framework that's going to be something in this vein as well. We haven't quite got nailed it just yet, but we're kind of very close to it. So yeah, it's a crazy thing to think about, but like I still think people are really under indexing on like how much the world will change in the next 24 months. And another data point is like people anyone that's kind of using Claude that's listening right now kind of sees like, okay, I go and like give my agent something to do, make an app or make a feature in my app, and it goes away and does it for 15 minutes, like, and that's amazing, that's incredible. But like people don't realize that like in 12 months, instead of taking 15 minutes, that's going to take a minute, and then in 24 months it's going to take 10 seconds. And so like so suddenly you get like 1,000 speed up in everything across just coding and like the task markets and absolutely everything. And that's coming like it's going to hit the economy like a freight train. And this is why people get this like 10-20% GDP growth and massive job displacement because of that. Anyway, it's fun to think about. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the TLDR of like all this stuff is like learn how to command agents. That's like if you understand how these agents work and like how to prompt them, how to command them, how to run 10 at a time or 20 at a time, you're sweet. You're fine.
How do we do that? How do we do that? Give us like I haven't started. Yeah. I use ChatGPT very effectively. Yeah. Run our business.
Oh man, you gotta lock in. Time to lock in, buddy.
Come on, help
us
out.
Time to lock in. So like if you really want to stay on the edge here, you have to look at the developer tools. Like the developer tooling and like what developers use for software is like 2 months ahead of everybody else. And so like Codex just released like a desktop app, and Claude Code obviously is in a desktop app. That came out like what, 3 weeks ago or something. Like you'd be able to do all that stuff directly in Claude Code for a couple months, maybe even longer. And so like if you really want to stay on the edge of the economy, then you need to focus on like what the developers are using and see how you can apply that into like your kind of knowledge work or however you want to call it, workloads. But like if you want to do it right now, like so Codex, the OpenAI application is really great. The Claude Code desktop app is really great if you don't want to deal with any command lines. Then obviously like ClaudeBot, like OpenClaw. Like OpenClaw, I think it just unlocks people's brains and thinking, here's like the first example, like great example of like you can talk to a computer and it can do pretty much anything. I mean, it literally can. Like, I mean, you might have to massage it and work through it, but like whatever your job is right now, however many different applications you use, you can plug them all into OpenClaw and it'll be able to compose them all together into basically what you do every day already, like right now, like today. and so that's why I'm just like, I barely sleep at the moment, and every moment time, I'm just trying to crank as many agents as possible. Because that's also like the kind of muscle memory that you need to figure out is like, how do you manage all these agents? Sorry, I didn't answer your question like how you do it actually. Is that you need to use like Codex or Claude Code right now, and there's probably going to be other applications in the future, or just like run like 10 OpenClaw agents, and then just manage them daily to do all your different tasks. So I mean, it's not even, you don't even need to be a developer
this is wild.
to do this anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
it's stupid, yeah. And you're right. Like my normie friends are all not all of them, but like the part that are tapped in are using Claude Code, never coded a day in their life, and spinning up awesome tools. Literally, one of my buddies right now is working on spinning up a tool to watch when people are claiming fees in the trenches, so we know when and where they claim, just to have a little bit of edge. We gotta tie it back to dreams, right? It's fascinating, but what are the economics of dreams? Obviously, a bet on dreams is a bet on you guys positioning for the future, largely, also with the current growth you guys have. So, you know, keep that in mind for all the audience here. But what are the economics of dreams currently looking like? Are you guys ramping up business? Are you seeing good volumes, good flows, good usage, all that stuff?
Yeah. So like, you know, our focus is to get, you know, allow people to create these, you know, token factories using the suite of our products, you know, from the inference to the SDK to the platform. And so, you know, when you create an agent on our platform, for example, it's going to cost about $1 to create, but that gives you free hosting, free best practices, and all this stuff. And so, you know, I see a future of like billions of 8004 agents. Like very, you know, within the next 12 months. And so, you know, that becomes a solid revenue stream for the product, along with like every agent will be paying for their own inference with USDC. Every agent will be creating paid endpoints with X402 with USDC. And so like all this whole economic engine, everything is running through the Daydreams products. And like the organization is generating income basically from all those interactions. And so that's kind of where we're positioning ourselves around all of that. And so like, you know, Dreams holders will be able to get discount on their inference, we'll get discount on the platform, and, you know, access to all these products that we release. And then, you know, longer term, we'll be building in like, you know, Langerstein, for example, his prime directive is basically to buy back Dreams. So every time it generates income and profit, it will use that to just buy back Dreams autonomously. And so I'm going to try to, you know, this week, had a sick child last weekend when like the whole year happened in a week, which was kind of brutal. But I managed to stay on top of it. But I'm half dead. But I'm going to try and create an army of Langerstein 69 type agents with people, you know, from everyone, from devs to non-devs, and they'll autonomously create all these agents, and they'll be generating income, and you know, with the prime directive of buying back Dreams to create this kind of, you know, this task network that I talk about. And it becomes like the network effect for these task networks. You know, the more tasks there are, you know, the better discoverability they are, the faster the kind of the aggregate gets solved. So, yeah.
Fascinating. What about like, again, I'm trying to just consolidate this because you guys are working on so much, consolidate it into some like simple messaging that people can get across to understand fully what you guys are working on. So maybe in a simple terms, think about it for a 1-2 minute clip. Can you lay out exactly what it is you guys are currently focused on, and then like maybe next steps, what you guys are directly focused on after this?
Yeah. So our prime directive is agent to agent autonomous commerce, which in a simple term means agents that can build autonomously, pay for their inference autonomously, and get paid autonomously through X402. And all of that comes together with an army of these agents that then, you know, with their goal of repurchasing Dreams as their prime directive. And so a whole product suite kind of wraps up underneath that.
Interesting. How do you guys outpace competition here? Because like I said, we saw Circle CEO reposting a few payment processor platforms, and there's a lot popping up. You guys obviously have been working on it for a little while, but what's the strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the question of the age right now, to be honest. And I think that everybody in software is asking the same thing. You know, how do you maintain, you know, a competitive lead? And I think the way that is done is through network effects and data, and basically building your software to iterate as fast as possible. You know, I think that you know, everything that we're building is also kind of very embedded into our like, you know, our products. You know, often our code base is actually run and maintained at a very high level by agents as well. And so, you know, I think with software, it becomes like, how quickly can you iterate on that feedback loop? And so instead of taking 3 weeks, you take like 3 days. with the help of agents. So I think that, with the network that we're building, with the task network, with the inference provider, all of this, it becomes this kind of competitive moat rather than just the software open source part, which isn't really a moat. So it really comes down to the data and the network. That becomes the moat, and just pushing out features as fast as possible. That's the question of the age right now. But yeah.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's, it's nice to have these conversations with you specifically because, I think the edge so much is in us and the audience and people making a decision on, well, okay, how do I position for this? We're not developers. We're not building this. Is talking to the developer that is already focused on what's going to happen, a couple steps ahead of the market, like you were with Claude, like you are currently now with the, 3D world generation going on and all that crazy stuff. So it's good to have these conversations. And I think that's what really helps us make these investable decisions. I think we covered a lot. Josh, if you have any questions, I want you to run through them. Loaf, it sounds like today you're getting your exercise in again, just like last time you were on the
oh, it's you guys catch me at 6 a.m. in the morning. So I need to with young kids, I need to get out of the house, otherwise you'll hear some disturbance in the background. So
hey mate, I respect it. I'm also a dad of young kids as well, so I respect the dad life.
It's carnage in the morning, so I got to get out of there. Otherwise, got to get a clear head. There's nothing like a screaming baby to mess your day up. Well, it's hard to get back into the headspace. It takes a minute. So just get up and go.
Hey, I was sorry. I was doing some show notes for a tweet. Did you mention how much money Langostine has made yet by doing?
It hasn't really made much yet. I need to re-engineer a few things, but he's I mean,
has he lost money? Has he lost money? Because that's always a
no. He hasn't lost money. He's running on like a free Kimi tier. So he's running on a free Kimi tier. So server cost plus inference is your cost of goods.
He's not trading your retirement fund and taking a negative P&L or anything like that. No,
not yet. He's not trading anything. I'm just I'm purely kind of focused on him. Trying to. It's half experiment. Like everybody's doing right now is like how can I get him best to figure out what the market wants at that point in time, and try to make like the arbitrage opportunity with the tasks that he make. And so that's what I'm trying to kind of engineer him to be, without like kind of telling him explicitly what to do, because like otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose, right? Like I want to figure out the exact kind of like prompt he needs to go and research, find actual market opportunities that other agents want, and go and build them within like 10 minutes. Like that's his goal. And so I'm not really interested in him trading kind of coins or anything right now. I'm more interested in him in kind of bootstrapping this whole task market and finding edges, because like everyone, you see these X42 endpoints in like 10 cents a piece and 5 cents a piece, but like once there's like 100 million agents, if you find an area of the market and you kind of like monopolize that little bit area of the market where you're serving up some information that nobody else is serving up, that like X42 endpoint will be insanely profitable. But you kind of need to discover it first. But like 10 cents times a million calls is a lot of money. So it's that's what he's digging for. That's what he's mining for. And so I'm going to keep pushing him on that direction, and I'm going to encourage and show other people how to do that as well. So hopefully by the end of this week we have like 10 Langostine clones that are all doing the same thing and all generating these kind of autonomous applications. And
by the end of this week, you said.
Yeah. Well, he's already like I can, if you have an agent email, he can email you. He can email your agent how he does it, and he can clone himself.
All right.
Yours. So he's self-replicating also.
How much money? All right, okay. You talked about 10-cent requests, million calls to the endpoint. Look, let's say in Dom might say speculation Dom here or moon math. Let's say by the end of this year, how much money do you think a team of 10 agents or whatever Langostine clones you have out there, what kind of buy pressure could they create? let's just say revenue, and they're buying dreams. Obviously, that's the key thing here. But like,
Oh man.
yeah, like I don't know if you were
Yeah.
to really kind of throw a number out there, not financial
Yeah.
advice, none of that. But
Not
like, if you're
financial
to really
advice, yeah.
moon math it, what do you think the market is out there?
I mean, like I think it depends on the uptake of like OpenClaw, and I think we're about to see like I don't think we've seen anything yet, to be honest. I think we're way underhyped of what OpenClaw and OpenClaw style systems can do. I think every single major technology company is going to try to do something similar. It's been like literally the fastest uptake of any software that like I don't know I've ever seen, and I think a lot of other people have ever seen. It's been insane,
Yeah.
and so like. It's because it's incredibly useful, and you know, is it in its final form? No, but it's going to get there. It's going to improve at a rate that we've never seen because literally it self improves itself right now, under the hood to a degree. So I think not financial advice. I mean, if we get if there's 10 million agents by the end of the year, or 100 million agents, they're all going to be one transacting. So if a Langoustine agent finds an edge in the market around a specific data endpoint, an arbitrage, then like they could be generating thousands a day. Which if you take the cost to generate one of these applications to like 50 cents or 20 cents, and that one of these endpoints are generating $1,000 in just for math's sake, $1,000 in revenue every day. Well, that's 1,000 times minus 20 cents in actual net profit, basically, for it, minus some small hosting fees, which then all
am
becomes.
I doing 1,000 times what? What am I 1,000 times what? What's the number?
No, $1,000. So I guess like take $1,000 of income, cost 20 cents to generate that application. Well, then you're generating, almost $1,000 of net profit because it's basically pure
across
profit
like a million agents.
No, I mean just a singular endpoint. I mean, like that's just one. So then like you have I don't know however many of Langoustines you have, but like yeah, it's we're into the moon math stage. I'm just saying that like as a normal business, you need to take into your account your costs of like generating your application. So like you go and make an iOS app 2 years ago, it's going to cost you 100K or something, unless you make it yourself, of course. Let's just say it costs you 100K. Well, then you're 100K in the red until you make that back in the app revenue. Whereas like with these autonomous apps and these autonomous X402 endpoints that kind of get created on demand, they're costing in terms of like their actual cost to generate, 10, 20 cents. So it's like fuck. It's like once one of them goes viral, and suddenly they get a million requests. Well, then like you're generating an insane amount of net income. And then you do that autonomously 24/7, and like you're just like spawning all of these potential applications that can be found by people and be invoked by people. So yeah, like the task market is going to explode. Like there's going to be literally like and we're making that like the ability to do that. Like the whole Daydream stack is like makes that so easy. Like you don't have to think about like the complexities of interweaving all these protocols together. You just use the Lucid SDK, and it handles all of that in the background for you. And same with your agent. Your agent, you just point it at the docs, and it generates like 50 lines of code, and then bang, there's your 8004 agent with your X402 endpoints ready to go. And so you don't have to worry about all the other piping and stuff. So yeah, I mean it's how long's a piece of string? So yeah, but I think it would all rely.
Are you guys doing any venture funding or anything? Like how are you funding the business? Is it just fees from Pump Swap or whatever?
Yeah, so we've got some internal funding. We're at the moment, we're always looking to partner with people who we think are exceptional. But yeah, we're in a solid place. We're acting autonomously and efficiently. So yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. I have a question for you. Actually, I'll get to Crypto Jones first real quick. He said, so why do you guys need a token or even have a token?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what this was a question to,
Yeah.
but I guess just generally.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, well, tokens are great for bootstrapping networks. Just like, I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now if that didn't exist. So,
Sure.
we kind of launched the token, back with, Agent One Mania, after I'd been kind of working on agent frameworks for quite a long time. So, and it's helped us bootstrap to where we are, outside of the traditional kind of fundraising method. And its goal will be to serve the dreams holders in that we'll be able to give free inference for images, videos, LLM requests, up to a certain degree, depending on the amount you hold and stuff, and all these fun kind of perks that dreams holders can get with that. And then you also have the autonomous agents that are repurchasing the token, so it becomes
deflationary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe ask the question this way, because we've obviously had a discussion around ownership tokens a lot, cover that a lot on this show. And let's say someone comes to you and says, hey, Loaf, I love what you're doing. Here's $100 million, right? Obviously you sell your business, you collect $100 million. And then I think the question, because we've seen this happen time and time again in crypto, is what do the token holders get? Do they they're legally not really tied to any of that capital? You're like, sweet, I don't have to work a day in my life anymore. How do you think about, kind of the token holder ownership thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I think what I'm trying to do is embed the kind of at the protocol layer, all this stuff. So, everything is basically autonomous with the dreams token buybacks and, discounts and whatnot. So, it's obviously quite a theoretical question you just asked me
It's
around,
a very
what happens in
theoretical question. Yeah.
that situation. But yeah, really all I can say right now is everything I'm doing is around, serving up, perks and discounts for the dreams holders, along with, building these autonomous agents that focus on buybacks. So yeah, it's yeah.
Curious, maybe the last question before we let you go here. I think out to specific opportunities where there were things that maybe I discovered that a lot of people weren't paying attention to. And for a while, I took advantage of these opportunities until someone basically found out the same opportunity, built a bot that could just do it a little quicker. And then we started seeing multiple bots and it became mainstream. I think of Parcel, which is a real estate platform that allowed you to trade real estate almost in futures contracts. I found it was very easy to predict the trend of real estate. And so I was doing really good, just printing money. And this lasted for a little while until someone came around and basically found out the same strategy I was using and then put a bot to it. And the bot basically took a lot of the money I was making. And then there turned out to be a ton of competition after some time. And it became non-feasible for me to make any money. But there are still those opportunities that last where it's completely overlooked by a lot of people and you can just really print money.
Exactly.
How is this going to change in the future to where you have AI agents where I don't even have to find that opportunity? I just have them go and scour the web for it. They find and kind of, I'm not even gonna say exploit it, but just utilize that edge for a little while until other people catch on. How is that happening right now? How far out are we? How can, just really curious on how you're thinking about that, or is it viable right now?
Yeah, diminishing returns, I think, is what.
No, not so much diminishing returns. Just are these agents out here scouring the web?
Sorry guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Loaf.
Hello.
Can you hear us, Loaf?
Oh shit.
Well.
Hello.
Hey.
On that note, I mean, maybe
Hello.
we just call it there.
Hello.
Yeah, we'll call it. Great question. We'll send that question to him in private. Maybe we'll tweet it out. But wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a crazy conversation,
dude. That was a crazy conversation.
I think task markets are the wildest thing, but it makes the most sense of anything that I've read in AI, in my opinion. It's a very practical way of saying, hey, there's a list of tasks and there's just compute. You just need to pay for the compute, and then there's an available agent that will take care of that will take care of that. That to me is wild.
Yeah, nutty conversation. I will say credit to Loaf. He seems very forward focused. I think he's really studying what's coming next with agents. I kind of saw this emergence happening with Cloud Code in the early days. And I think that's the one thing I would accredit to Daydreams in a big way. I ask, guys, there's a lot of competition here. You got Perch, you got this person, you got this person. How do you set yourself apart? And I think the answer is
Yeah.
you need a team, a developer that's fully aligned with where
Yes.
things are headed directionally.
Hey, buddy.
Oh.
Sorry, I don't know what happened then. But it just it was a terrible time because I wanted to say, the what you just described with your agent, your bot that kind of got usurped by the other bot, is that like kind of that's exactly what Langoustine is trying to do, in that he goes and searches for opportunities automatically and then builds a task system around that, which then people can buy. And so he's kind of finding opportunities and autonomously creating them, all the time. And so, as he gets better at doing that, he'll become, more and more refined and finding opportunities better and better in specific markets. So it is exactly kind of the direction that I'm trying to push on with him and the whole Daydream stack. Is that like, how do you like autonomously create these task markets? Bootstrap them just with agents themselves. So it's the agents creating the tasks, and it's a human handler just like kind of steering them a bit. But it's really the agent that is going to be able to do it, because humans just can't process that amount of information to kind of stay on the edge in an agent to agent world, because they can just do it faster.
Is Langoustine open source, or can other people see the activity? I guess the one thing I would fear is he finds a great money printing machine, and then everyone finds out about it because they see him printing for a week, and like again, that's where the diminishing returns come in, because someone else copies it.
Yeah, it becomes like hyper capitalism, because that's kind of what happens in our markets anyway. Is that like, someone someone creates a product, then another person creates a better product, charges cheaper, bang. And like at the agent to agent level, it's just super concentrated and like at the speed of light. But a lot of his code right now, all the stuff he's made is all open source. You can go and check out his GitHub. I mean, go to his website. He's got a portfolio that he puts up and updates daily. That with all of his agents that he creates and stuff. So like he's still got a way to go, and like this whole kind of autonomous experiment where you've got agents kind of just looking for opportunities. I think it's going to develop a lot, and Langoustine is definitely not in his final form. He was kind of, I'm kind of like pushing him in, but like there's a lot of improvements to be made around like his data pipeline and like exactly how he makes things, and want to stay stay in touch with that. Like just make sure to I'll be like kind of pushing updates and kind of explaining kind of thought process and like how you can clone him and kind of copy his techniques.
We just spent like an hour, 2 hours talking about crypto markets here. I think maybe my question around crypto is like, obviously the MOLTBOT stuff has escaped crypto Twitter, and like it's on Fox News. They're talking about all this crazy stuff happening. Like, do you see this moment as like a big moment for on-chain, and that it's bullish for crypto?
I think that like there's a lot of people that just don't want to deal with any of like the crypto bullshit, like the meme coins or anything. So like I think that so like there's a lot of people in the AI world that don't want to deal with any of that. I think that there's elements of crypto that are going mainstream, like X402 is a perfect example of that. Like it's the crossover between Web 2 and Web 3, because like doesn't have any.
I think we're losing him a little bit.
See, I can never comment on if I'm not hearing someone, because I have no idea if it's my end or their end, so I just stay quiet. It's like,
yeah. So that's so I think that there are elements that will go mainstream, like 8004 I think will, because it's also just like the perfect use case for a public blockchain. X402 is another example of just like leveraging all the infrastructure that crypto's built in order to give a better product. So yeah, I think it will. I think there's going to be like parts of it, and I was actually been thinking about this for the last couple of weeks. Good question. Is it like I spent a lot of my time, like looking at, I love the whole new shiny tech things, and I go and play with them and everything. And I think that like, everything that's happening with the AI world, and like, how do you command 10 agents at a time, which you asked me, is like, all of that's going to like, kind of like collapse into kind of this like next gen interface, which I don't think has existed yet, but it might be like a level of like VR, AR, kind of commanding, 10, 20 different agents at a time.
using like under the hood using crypto rails. So like if you take that into account, and you have like all of like the VR AR tech that we've been building for 10 years, we have the crypto tech that we've been building for 15 years, and then we have, you know, all this AI stuff, which is powering all of it as well. And so it's all kind of coming to a head, and it's not just like independent industries anymore. I think it's all going to cross over into just like future tech, and it's all going to be used together. So anyway, that's how I see it.
Well, Loaf,
yeah.
I'm sure you could talk for years on this
Yeah.
because it's just the rabbit hole goes so deep. But we appreciate your time today. I think we got a
Yeah.
ton of good information on dreams.
Yeah.
And have a great day. I guess since it's probably around 7
And
a.m.
shout
now
out, you're
for you.
on Solana trending, by the way. So
Am I?
last 24 hours. Yeah.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah, look, guys, thanks for the chat, and feel free to give me a call anytime if you want to talk about the next shiny thing.
Yeah,
or
appreciate it.
whatever.
We do. We want people to
Yeah.
like know how to survive what's coming, and I think
Yeah.
you're being helpful to that. So thank you.
The crustacean underclass. Escape the crustacean underclass.
Yeah.
Anyway. Anyway, all right, thanks guys. I'll talk to you
Thanks,
later.
Loaf.
See you,
Bye.
Loaf.
See you, Loaf.
Take care.
The crustacean underclass. Oh my goodness, it's so funny.
Yeah. Yep. But
Yeah, he's very forward looking, man. Like you can tell he is, you know, steps ahead of the game, just as far as not only knowing what's coming, but just like positioning for it, you know, using dreams.
yeah. All right. Which one of you guys can pronounce the name? Let's see. Have a competition. Josh,
Graziella Fritas.
Nah, I got you. Graciela Freitas. Yeah, talk to me. Yeah, boy, got the little.
Oh, bro, I'm from Canada, so you know, I don't got it like that. I don't got it like that.
probably better than anything I would have spit out. So,
No,
update,
shout out
though,
YouTube.
Sorry if we, shout out YouTube. Sorry if we butcher your name, but
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
We do apologize.
good to have
We're
you on
more
stream.
likely. See, Abe makes it easy. Abe makes it real easy, right? It's simple. I can pronounce it. Top Fumbler's pretty easy, but I would say about half the time we're butchering stuff out here.
Yeah, and YouTube butchers.
On that note, since
the name too.
I'm gonna comment on that, Dom. The entire base eco has actually caught a nice little bounce over the course of our dreams interview. Multex, I would say Multex, Starkbot, and Kelly Claw. Those are the strongest bounces we've seen. Multex is up, you know, 100% off the lows.
in an hour.
Yeah, in an hour.
56% too.
Guys,
What's
lock in.
Starkbot up
Yeah.
50%, Claude as well. Up, you know, 50% off the lows. So looking pretty sweet here off these bounces, guys.
Again, we're ready. We're ready.
What's
Just need
Bitcoin
Bitcoin to
doing?
cooperate.
I
Bitcoin's
guess
bouncing a
that's
little
the
bit.
reason for the bounce.
We got some news, some like regulatory clarity as well. Also, just like in general, look, we swept a key level here. Just to be clear, you got to remember these market makers need liquidity. They want to take money. What side is their money on? Okay, well there was money under here. There was money under there, which I'll do this in red so everyone can see here. Boom. There was money under there that has since been swept. Right? They've since taken the liquidity there.
Can you
One thing I've
make
been
that like 2 or 3 px?
Make this a little
That
bigger.
red-
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I like them, you know, I like them nice and tight. Nice and tiny.
Go ahead, bro. You're stupid.
I apologize. Yeah, you know, there we go. We'll just. He's referring to the dots on screen. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, let me regroup. Yes, as I was saying, we got the sweep. Thank you, Chill. We got the sweep. We got the sweep here. And now it feels like we could get a little bounce here, maybe for like the next week or so. I will say though, I kind of get scared. Everyone's saying, and Johnny, you know, Johnny said this as well. 61K, previous top. That's where we got to go. And now I think, and I see it in chats, I see it in a lot of chats, I see it on Twitter. I'm like, everyone's saying it. Everyone's saying it. So in my mind, we have two options that are a little more practical. We either front run 61K because everyone's calling for it, or we blow right through it. And I'm probably, I'll probably end up being wrong on both of these. But like I get scared when I see everyone calling for a certain number. That's like I inverse trade that. Nonetheless, this has been a nice bounce. It's swept liquidity. I think we could maybe see a little bounce up for the next week back to like 79K probably. So that's, I think, Bitcoin bouncing, everything else is kind of eager to run as that happens. Hence the, I think the bounce we're seeing across the board.
Yeah. Bitcoin. Is it too early to call for a relief rally? Is it too early for that?
No. Not too early. Never too early. You might get
'Cause-
wrecked, but
Fact. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. It's a trade idea I've kind of flirted with over these last few kind of
and by the way,
days. Yeah.
to add to this too, 50 minutes ago, the U.S. House passed a government funding bill to end the shutdown, which is why I think we saw a little bit of relief here in Bitcoin, just for what it's worth. Also, conveniently right after a major sweep, which is, interesting.
Insane timing. The timing this cycle has been absolutely crazy. I'll put a red line there for you. This would be a crazy SFP right here if we do form one. But I'm saying, what if we?
What's an SFP?
SFP is a swing. It's a swing failure pattern. So basically, there's let me see if it's better on the daily or the 3-day. Yeah,
And I love asking people acronyms to see if they know what it is or not. But not that you didn't.
Dude, sometimes you don't have to know. It's just like SPV or whatever it is.
SPV.
I don't even know what it means. Yeah.
DRP was the hardest one. No one knew what DRP was.
So basically it's that low, and that low. So it's a lower low, then a higher low. That forms like a swing failure pattern. And then if after it there's a wick below it, but then a swift reclaim, that forms an SFP. The higher the time frame, the better the signal. So like, let's say in like 5 days, like on Sunday, if we get this close here, because you see the low, the lower low, then the higher low, that's a swing failure pattern. Bang, bang. And if we get a swift reclaim back above the red line, then that would calculate that would print an SFP, and that would mean like a reversal essentially. Whether it's a reversal to new highs or to just 84K or some lower high level, that still remains to be seen. But that's the general kind of thought there. But that's what I'm looking for on all these charts, because coming out of, again, like the strongest bounces come out of these like crazy these crazy moves where we saw yesterday and the other day, like billions of dollars is getting liquidated. People are getting carried out on a stretcher. So after that price action has taken place, all that blood is spilt. Once that's done, we can see some relief. And that is a first indication of one, the SFP. Shout out Trader Main.
Boom, boom, boom. You wanna just knock off some last minute stuff and then
yeah, I mean, you had yesterday you had just to close the loop on Eva. You actually, and I think Johnny had a non-opinion, but Eva, you had a ascending wedge that broke, and then you had a green box. I just want to check in to see if that hit.
Who's that? Me?
That was you, Chill. I believe it was you. Yeah.
Let me see. Let me check. Let's see what we're looking at here.
Low key, I may have tracked down the Eva dev, and I'm trying to work out some scheduling. So a little alpha for you guys that are on stream.
And let's see here. Yep. So the rising wedge played out on. I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all, these rising wedges and falling wedges play out on chain perfectly. I don't know where the box where I
Wait,
put the
so
box
wait.
here.
I gotta get some clarity here. Is this did this play out perfectly right here?
I mean, yeah. I kind of I drew this up. I mean, you can play with the lines a little bit, if you don't want to say they're exactly perfect, but um the
So
first
I thought we
yeah.
were looking for it to go up though. Like it's just going down. In this case,
That no,
anything's a
no.
rising or falling wedge. It doesn't.
So rising wedge is bearish, falling wedge is bullish.
I see. I
So
see.
so rising wedge is this over here too. And again, rough with the lines, but you kind of get the point. Rising wedge is just boom. I mean,
What's the
even
difference of between a rising wedge and a vertical accumulation?
so a vertical accumulation, there's no kind of like apex, right? A vertical accumulation is just is just a range, it's just a vertical range versus a wedge, right? So like even here again, like you can kind of play with the lines, and I guess to some extent, like you can really let the lines, you can really make the lines do whatever you want them to do at a certain point. But as you can see, there's this kind of like apex forming on this rising wedge. Whereas like Orgo was really good vertical accumulation, but I think that one actually pulled back. But I wouldn't
Oh
even
yeah.
say that one was I wouldn't say that was a rising wedge. Honestly, like it doesn't play out every single time. I mostly look for it like on a higher time frame. Yeah, this is yeah. This is vertical accumulation, right? There's no apex. It's just a vertical range. Like there's no apex to it. Um,
Got you.
yeah. You know what? It's crazy. I say it that I'm not a chartist. I'm really not a chart guy. I've really just kind of went like layer on layer on layer. Um, but it seems like I am a chart guy now. It seems like I
would
might
say
be.
you're a chart guy, dude. I would say
Seems
you're a
like I
chart
might
guy.
be. Seems
Hey,
like I
this
might be.
show started as a chart show, so
Yo, for real.
Ave says new SOAR tweet. Can we
Let's
peek
check
in
it
on
out.
that? Yeah, let's check that
Yeah.
out.
Okay. It's it's just basically going over all the projects and what's been going on. But 3 months ago, SOAR went live. Since the launch, we've seen growth demands from traders, some undeniable traction for the 12 teams so far who took flight. The diehard support for our community. Here's a recap of what happened in the last quarter. Strap in. Initial numbers are good. Let me zoom in for you guys. Initial numbers are good. 15,000 unique wallets have contributed over $25 million worth of volume on SOAR, capitalizing startups with hundreds of thousands of dollars that they have used to take their products to the next stage. With over 6,500 daily active users on SOAR and growing, the future is bright. The DRP standard has been adopted by strong founders across the world, from veteran financiers who with IPO experience and operators who have supported the world's biggest financial institutions, like our boy Pat and Serial Tech X, to talented, resilient, and driven young bucks disrupting sectors from telecom, which is Charles here, and glamping, to crypto and AI. The SOAR ecosystem is a melting pot of talent. In the grand scheme of things, 3 months is not a long time, but the teams on SOAR has shown great progress, seizing the opportunity by the horns and delivering. Check out some of the ecosystem traction. Now it's just going to be ecosystem traction here. CPT announces Fortitude engine for drones alongside commercial partnerships. We've talked about CPT. They got Lifefinder coming out. We got coming on Monday. We got Roman coming on Monday. So you can hear more about that. GSIM team has pushed their product to Google Play Store for their beta test. They've acquired 200 plus new users in a single week. So they're growing, steady growth for a GSIM. This is the TLDR on the entire SOAR ecosystem. Mixer.fun team launched their public beta less than a month after debuting on SOAR. Daily transaction volume and user base has been growing at average of 35 and 25% respectively per day. That's really good. Daily growth of 25 to 35%. Wow. Gaming Mastermind, Studio BitDot used their SOAR funding to advertise pre-product for their next 2 games, with LOIs signed by 2 publishers and raised a further $5,000 via token OTC to fund their sequel to the Nano IP. Again, credit to the Studio BitDot team. we had them on back when they launched, and I would say like when it comes to founders that have a vast knowledge in a very niche sector, these guys absolutely do. They know what they're talking about in terms of these games. So shout out them. Alignment Hub is living up to their mission and recently published their latest experiment with ownership cards. Each creator gives users 10,000 booney, providing them shared upside in the company. They now hold over 1.26 million USD in assets on their balance sheet, representing a 20% increase since their FY 2025 financial statement. 1.26 million. They're up $2 million bucks, basically, is what I'm hearing.
This feels like a earnings, like a quarterly earnings report on the or just an overall report on the SOAR eco. I like that. I like that concept actually.
Yeah. So yeah. You know, you guys can read through it yourself. There's a few more on here that I'm not going to cover, but okay, good update. Good update.
Yeah, SOAR's doing their thing. Please get slabs from DLMM back on if you're looking for something that could give you big multiples back in a bear market. DLMM is it. Crypto Jones.
DLMM. And if I'm still holding, I'm currently not holding DLMM just because, you know, you have to decide what you want to do. I think DLM is a great value for what you're getting, and I think it probably does slow cook where they continue to buy back and burn. The question is, where could my money be used right now? And I think in terms of parked capital, a lot of my parked capital is going to CPT and CLED and Orgo, right, rather than DLM at the moment. So it's just a push pull. I guess I could size down and enter some DLMM again, but I agree with it being like a really good slow cook. You just have to, at least personally, differentiate where you're going to allocate money to. And if you're going into a slow cook like DLMM, where it's just, hey, I'm just going to hold, it's going to appreciate over time. That's great. Just know what you're getting into. You're not going to be able to get in and out quick. You're not going to be able to go and trade those funds. But yeah, shout out DLMM.
Yeah, no, I actually love that as like a potential sort of like moonshot type of play. And I'm not the one to really use that word. That sounds a lot worse than it actually is. But DLMM, what they're essentially doing is taking supply off the market. Yesterday they took nearly 1%. A slow bleed versus slow cooks, in my opinions. Yeah. Very true. Very true. But yeah, DLMM, they're taking a ton of supply off the market. And I think that creates a very explosive dynamic. For anyone who's followed me for any length of time, you know that I love supply shocks. I love deflationary assets. That's what I love the most. And right now, DLMM, you know, kind of does a lot of that. They're again 1% in a single buyback yesterday. I think that moves the needle really well. And, you know, eventually when demand comes back, you know, there's not going to be enough supply on the market. So, you know, I like the setup on DLMM. It's actually one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, probably a great area to enter, to be honest, if you're patient.
100%, bro. 100%. You can easily buy 1% of this and just freaking chill.
Solomon Labs. This is the last thing I have to cover. Less than a week since the Oro DApp launched, the gold/USDV pools on Meteor AG powered by Yas. LPs earned 59.6% APY fees plus Yas during that period, with rewards streamed directly to the USDV leg. No vols, no wrappers, no staking. More soon.
Dang. 60%?
$128,000 a day. 772,000 over the week. And I think that means this is distributed directly to holders, right? Which is wild. That's really something.
That's insane. That is insane. Oh,
Let's see what the solo chart's looking like. Is it sustainable? I don't know. It's insane. It's nuts.
I think that's the part, like, especially when you get the 10th largest liquidation day, you know, of crypto's history. Yeah, it's just rough. But that chart kind of fell off a little bit here.
It did, man. It's in pretty this might be cheap territory. I think it's been in this might be cheap territory for a while. It just got very low volume. I don't know what people are waiting for here. Are they just a little tired of MetaDAO right now? Is that the
Yeah,
case?
they need a MetaDAO cook. Don't know if that's Umbra. Like pull Umbra up as well, because
Yeah.
Umbra is getting very close.
Umbra just announced their project. They're live now, so that was a nice update.
I think sometimes like with news like Umbra, like it gets hyped up and hyped up and hyped up, like going into it. When it does come out, it just kind of like
False
rolls
flag.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buy the rumor, sell the news. We talked about that yesterday. Literally a trend that's played out in markets for decades.
Forever.
So yeah, or for centuries really. But yeah. Still love pretty much every token in the MetaDAO eco is solid.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Your money for your eyes only. Umbra private mainnet now live.
Nice.
Yeah. There's your Umbra update.
Yeah, people just want to
Solid.
see traction on this kind of stuff.
But I think we covered pretty much everything. Pretty much covered everything here today.
Crypto Jones, say solo goes to zero and you have to explain yourself to your significant other. How would that conversation sound in hindsight? Yeah, that conversation would sound like this. Hey, baby, right now I lost all my money on solo. Not sure why, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go raise a vote and get all my money back because they have a treasury stacked up with money. And if it's at zero, I'm sure people will want to do that with me. So that's what I would probably say in hindsight. Hey, baby, I'm going to raise a Futarki vote, decision market vote on Umbra, and hopefully we get all our money back. That's what I would say.
I've already had this conversation with my wife a few times. Still in the game, so take that for what it is. Crypto
Still in the game.
Jones.
Still married though?
Still married.
Okay.
Still in the crypto game. I've survived a lot of ups and downs. So there you go.
Yeah.
Solid, boys.
What about I can pull up the MCG weekly schedule, and there's been some changes to that as well. So maybe Josh comes in, drops a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna post a new updated schedule after this, but and then I'll repin it. But the low cap promised me 20% APY. Yeah, but you know what? That strategy, which is a well-documented strategy, was not in this market. You're not collecting negative funding rate in this market on the short side. Yeah, I mean, this is, I think for tomorrow, you'll see AISI. Step is moving back. They're working on some internal security stuff first, but they will be on this week. So shout out to them for doing that. We'll cover Huru, which is live right now with their ICO. Do we want to just pre-cover that real quick? Is that? Yeah, we'll cover that tomorrow, to be honest with you, or Thursday. But yeah, their ICO is live, and then CPT is getting moved to Monday. But the JW 100X, I don't know, was he a big Olympus DAO guy? I feel like forget.
He's been in the game for a while, man. I don't remember Olympus DAO, but I don't remember that
Guy's got Umbra in his bio. So really excited to talk to him about Umbra and like where he thinks that goes, obviously. So
yeah, no CPT, maybe just a chill Friday, kind of covering the market and hanging out. We'll see. So also Wednesday we did replace Remora Market here with Primus. I think the founder of that was also the founder of Dolos Diaries, which might ring a few bells. Chill, if you remember back during the AI run, we had Dolos Diaries pop off.
I was gonna say that sounds so familiar. Oh, yeah. Dolos Diary, yeah. Bully,
yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Man, what a time that was a time to be alive, brother. Shout out to him for sending that one. But yeah, packed schedule here this week, guys. Hope you guys really enjoy the show today. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow for another one. Deuces.